Hi, everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a new video, and welcome to a live stream. Yes, Saturdays and Sundays are my usual live stream days. A little bit earlier than usual, I guess, depending on where you are in the world. So the point was I can do it a little bit earlier and finish a bit earlier. And I might do a live stream over on my cruise channel in a few hours later on after this as well. So if anyone happens to be a subscriber to I Like Cruise Ships, which is my other channel, I haven't done a video over there for quite some time. So I need to kind of catch up with people what's going on and not going on. So yeah, thanks to everybody that's here live watching. I'm sure some people who are subscribers, of course, welcome back or welcome to a live stream if you're catching it right now. Some people will be watching it on replay. So yeah, thanks for watching live from my Moscow kitchen. Yes, if anyone doesn't know, I am in Moscow, Russia. I think most people who would be a subscriber to the channel are probably well aware of that by now by the amount of videos I've made. I did just have a shave, by the way, so I look nice and cleanly shaven, I think, on the camera. I'm not sure if it looks, it feels good in real life. Right after I have a shave, so yeah, and I see a few people alive here already. So now, very typically, I can only see people that are posting something that I can see live. So it does have a list of kind of viewers, but it only tends to count the ones that post. So yeah, so Blogging Trucker Reviews, how's it going? Hello from, well, to you in New York, I guess. I guess some people call like New York like the center of America, right? I know it's not geographically the center, but when you stand there on that sort of intersection of Times Square, it's got some sort of like feeling to it when you stand there. So yeah, Blogging Trucker. Also, Gary is here, who is one of our moderators. Thank you, Gary, for being a moderator. Also, Real Moscow Projects, and Annette or Anne. I'm not sure how I really pronounce your name. Anne. I gave them a little bit of a heads up to be here. So thanks, Anne, if you hang around, if you've got things to do, I understand. Yeah, and Gary, thanks also for being here. You'll see the little cog by their name, which kind of indicates that they're a channel moderator. So basically, if there's anything that's a little bit untoward, it may disappear. I'm sorry. Certain keywords as well may not appear on comments. So if you do post things, as much as possible, something that's nice, friendly, within reason, is far more accepted. So yeah, and also just want to say thank you to Gary there for a super sticker, I think. Is it a super chat or a super sticker? But 10 euros. Thank you very much. It goes a long way for supporting the channel and my need to basically live, if that makes sense, to live. We all need something to live, right? Or somehow to live. So yeah, so Gary, and then there's a few other people. Anyone else is here in the group or in the chat, just post something in the comments. Even just a thumbs up or a hello is perfectly fine. You don't have to detail anything as such. So yeah, I see there Jeff, Renata 12ER6N, Emily, Rikuracha, Kirill, Здравствуйте, Kirill, TT's, Chris, Chance, Danny, Kristen, Claudine, Joe, Guy, John. Oh, lots of people. Wow. Thank you. Really, thank you. Yeah. Blogging Trucker, if you're still here watching, I'm not too sure if people come and go. So the cruise ship thing is kind of in a tiny holding pattern. I am trying to get on Carnival Celebration, which is a ship that comes out in about 2 months. It's not working out for now. My kind of temporary plan, if they would like me to, is to go over to Finland for a couple of weeks and go to the shipyard and help out with the shop opening and start and build. But guess I'm emailing the wrong people. I don't know, or the right people aren't listening, whatever way it looks like. So for now, there's no ship in the works. It's more my wife that sort of is a little bit anxious and apprehensive at the moment about what to do with things going on. So, and you said there, it would be great content for the channel. I guess traveling in general, I guess. This is my kind of other sticking point with the channel name. And I talked to a few people yesterday about this. It's a travel channel. I make a travel video. It doesn't get a lot of views. I make a under sanctions video and it gets a lot of views. So the second most viewed video on this channel is about the Iranian car that I went to go and actually look for. I went intentionally to a car parts convention. Now, I don't know if anybody's a car guy or girl out there and, going to an entire convention about car parts. But I kind of caught that car there. I knew it was there somewhere, and I did finally kind of come across it. So, yeah, there's a few indifferent comments there. So, thanks. These are depressing times, XY. Yeah, the last couple of days has been very interesting. My wife, particularly, she is a lot more worried about the short-term future of, not about Russia, but I guess about our life here in Russia and what we should do, what we shouldn't do. Should we leave, literally leave in the next day or two? Should we wait out? Should we, should we continue with living here? You know what I mean? If that makes sort of sense. So it's, my wife has a lot more questions. She'd be the ideal person to sit here. I don't know how she would answer a lot of them, but she's actually at work right now. So she has clients today. Saturdays, Sundays tend to be her busiest couple of days with work, as a lot of people are not at work. A lot of people want to get, aware my wife's a nail master, nail manicure specialist, I guess, nails and manicure pedicures. So Jeff, hello, how's it going? Sorry, I will try to go through comments. If it gets too fast, I'll slow down or I'll just skip a few comments. So yeah, thank you. Renata, hello. Elise, hello from Denmark. Yes, nice Dockers shirt. Yes, thank you. I've got my Dockers shirt on. Yesterday I did watch the grand final. I actually went into Moscow and I watched it with, there's 3 other Australians there, and there was an American guy and there was a Russian guy. They do actually have a Moscow-based Australian rules football team here called the Lazy Koalas is the name of the team. They're basically a very amateur team, if that makes sense, but they do play matches, they do train, they do everything that involves what you do at a very small football club with very few members. I don't know. We met up. It was very interesting there. 2 of them were teachers. They're school teachers in Moscow. One of them actually works, and the third guy works at the airport, for the airport. I don't know, for the airport, if that makes sense. I don't know how you say that, but he deals with the food and catering at the airport, which was kind of interesting to talk about. Apart from watching the football, we talked a lot about what's going on right now, and you know what I mean, the certainties of staying here and things like that. And they did actually say a lot of the Australians that they know have all left, not necessarily in the last couple of days, but in the last few months, I guess since February. So it's kind of interesting to take their perspective of things. Kirill, hello. Sorry, earlier time is good. Yes, TTs. Yes, for Australians, it's a little bit better, I guess, with that 5 or 7 hour time difference. Then also it's easier for the UK. Yeah, I had Chris right there. Chance, this is interesting. Did did I skip the cola comparison live stream? No, you didn't, Chance. Now, my neighbor, so if anyone has watched that previous live stream, I guess a couple of streams ago with Gleb. His name is spelled Gleb, but you say Gleb. But I say Gleb. So he's actually left Russia. Now, last week, I don't know what day. So last week, roughly, he went away on a short holiday with his wife. His daughter went on holidays with their grandparents, and then they decided to go on a holiday themselves, just the two of them, right? And they went to somewhere, I think it was in the north of Russia. I'm not 100% sure where geographically it was. And they were going for 6 days. And then all of this got announced, about 3 or 4 days ago now? 4 days? See, he essentially came back to Moscow from where they were. His wife was still there because they decided to sort of separate. No, but separate in terms of him coming here, her being there. And he came back to the apartment. He packed up his car and he drove to Belarus and essentially left Russia. So he's now not in Russia. And his wife has since come back. Actually, my wife, actually, the day before they went on holidays, which was, I guess, last weekend, they invited us for dinner. So we went up to their place. We're in the same building, same elevator here. And my wife and her wife, which I thought would happen, they got along really well. And after work later on, my wife's going to go over there for a chat, talk. I don't know. So yeah, so he's now in Belarus, and he is up and left, literally. I don't know if anyone watched the live stream with he and I and asking him questions, and he did briefly talk about it, that he was enlisted in the military. He's not in the military as an active person now, but he spent quite a few years in the military, went through the university or the system or whatever he went through. So I guess he's a little bit, and the fact that he's skilled has kind of put him in a bit of a predicament about him getting called up or him needing to go to active service now, if that makes sense. I'm going to say things in a roundabout way. So I'm sorry if I do hear some people say, read between the lines, if that makes sense. You guys can chat away, by the way. I will try to catch up to the comments. I will just go through things a little bit more detailed about specific questions. So yeah, and also thanks for the likes. I see 34 likes. That's very nice of you. Comments and likes help the video a lot in terms of the analytics. So yeah, that's very nice of you. I'm sorry again, Gary and Real Moscow Projects possibly may delete comments, or they may not actually appear because of the certain words that are restricted, particularly bad words, if that makes sense. So yeah, so he and I were going to do, I've literally got the tasting cups. Well, there's 2 packs of them here, prepared for the tasting. And I also went, did I go Wednesday it's now Sunday, right? I went on Wednesday or Thursday to a World Food Convention, and I actually saw Chinese-made Coca-Cola that comes in across the border from Vladivostok. So I didn't get any more Coca-Colas then, but I've got a cupboard of them at the moment. And actually behind me here is, actually I've got one here. My lady at the liquor store downstairs saved me the Chernogolovka. I'm going to call it Mandarin. It's kind of Fanta, but it's not Fanta at all. Chernogolovka is a brand that's very well known in Russia. And she saved me 3 bottles of them. And my wife didn't realize when she went down there to go in and grab something that she was going to have them waiting for me. So yeah, so Chance, I don't know what we're going to do about the Coca-Cola tasting unless I can convince my wife to be in it. It's a bit tough to go to somewhere else's house to do it, to take them all with me, because it's now like a cupboard of them. And then I've got all these they're kind of like mini wine glasses that I'm going to use as shot glasses to do the different cups as tasting. So yeah, Gleb literally drove his car across the Belarus border. It's a 6-hour drive from here to Belarus. So you can literally drive in and out of Belarus. I'm not sure if there's a time restriction on how long you can stay there as a Russian citizen. I'm not sure. I know for Australians, it's a 30-day visa-free entry if we were to go across the border there. So, hello from America. Danny, that's very general. Hello from America. Thank you. Hello. Good to see you in the live stream. Kristen, hello as well. I know you're in one of the previous live streams from Russia, Istanbul, and America. Oh, Kirill is saying hello to everybody. I'm glad Patrick Lancaster posted yesterday. I've not seen a video from him for quite a while. I don't really love... Okay, there's a thing with YouTube, right? To say you love somebody I find this hard because if Real Moscow Projects is here, I know in a few chats, she's got a partner. We get along very good. We've been out quite a few times together. And I love her, you're right? To say something that you love somebody other than your wife or girlfriend or significant other. And I love her upbeat nature. If you want to check out some of her videos on her channel, quite a lot are posted in Russian. She's got a couple in English here and there. But yeah, I don't really like Patrick Lancaster. I don't really like him. Well, not like him now. Love him, like him. What's the middle word there? Just his content for me seems a little bit forced, if that makes sense. A little bit like money grabbing or views grabbing. I literally haven't seen this latest one. He could have changed his style altogether. I don't know, but I guess it's, if you're there, then I guess it's a different type of content that you want to watch from somebody there, wherever he posted from. Hello from Oak Ridge, Tennessee, home of, maybe Tennessee generally. Tennessee is the volunteer state, right? Guys here, yes. Hello from Perth. Oh, John, hello. My wife and I were living in Rockingham, right by the foreshore. I'm sure you know Rockingham Foreshore, Rockingham Beach, right where all the fish and chip shops were. We were a couple of streets back from there, but very nice spot where we were. Hello from NO. Is that Norway? Probably with a polar bear on there. It could be New Orleans. First time catching a live stream. Oh, very nice. Jan Allen from you, although I do watch your videos. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I guess doing it at a different time. I know for Konstantin, if anyone watches Inside Russia channel, a good friend of mine, I'll have to say I love him now because I love Real Moscow Projects. I've just chatted to him kind of on Messenger, and we do voice messaging where we record and chat back and forward. I haven't had a chance to catch up with him yet. So yeah, he does his at 11 o'clock Moscow time PM, and right now here it's 5:20. So it's a little bit earlier for me and just a little bit easier to do it as well. And my wife's not here, so she's happy. She's not listening to me talking and so on. Hello from PA. So yeah, I guess Polar Bear's from Norway and John Snell is from Pennsylvania. I think that's PA, right? I can't read Russian, so if anyone is typing in Russian, just type in English if you can. So yeah, hello from Prague. Pete X. Hello from Prague. Nice. Hopefully I'm not popping anything up I shouldn't. What does your partner think of this situation? Has she got any family who are at risk of mobilization? Yeah, so she's a little bit stressed, I guess panicked, worried. Not necessarily for her and I, if that makes sense, her and I. I asked her today, I said, you weren't in the military before I met you, were you? You didn't tell me ever. Maybe you were, I don't know, like the one after Girl Guides and Scouts. And she's like, no. So yeah, our close friends here in our town, their son has literally took our friend's car. So our friend's car literally and driven to... Now he's already in Kazakhstan. He was enlisted in the military at some point. I don't know if he served time outside of Russia. A lot of them go through the process of the military here and may not serve anywhere except doing, whatever activities inside Russia. So yeah, he's literally left. Our friend's son. He doesn't live in our town. He lives in Moscow. So yeah, him and his girlfriend, his wife now, because they're married, and two of his friends. So four of them have gone in the car together, literally, and they're in Kazakhstan. And they had to wait at the border. They said that my wife hasn't told me the full story, just the limited story that she understands. He spent quite a lot of hours crossing the border into Kazakhstan. I think that's been documented on the news quite a lot, the waits at the borders, because essentially before this, there wasn't waits at the borders. It was pretty much a drive-through border check. International borders are a little bit different, versus an airport. So basically you can drive through, they'll check your passport and whichever country, whether or not you can or can't enter on the spot. So she's her cousin who's in Ufa, where she's from. Her relatives, I guess, are mostly in Ufa, which is about 3 hours east of Russia, of Moscow, by plane. Her cousin was enlisted as well, or was in the military at some point, but for now he's not leaving. They are talking about it. So yeah, it's kind of scary from a point of view of everybody knows somebody who's caught up in it, if that makes sense, especially now in the last 4 days. And this is kind of scary for some people, because it's somebody that and you're worried that something may happen to them, so so she's definitely, we've got, the friends that I know here that I've met through my wife over the years, it's getting a little bit closer to us because we know people now that are going to possibly be involved in what may happen in the near future, if that makes sense. So what has happened to that beautiful country? Yes. Yeah, it's certainly changed the kind of feeling here. Does that make sense? The feeling. I went out actually 3 days in a row into Moscow, and today is my not going into Moscow day. And I've got to say, catching the train and the buses and the bus station that I go through from my town onto the metro has got the international bus station there. And it's definitely, it feels like there's more people traveling somewhere. I definitely have noticed in these last 3 days that I see more people going through the public transport and through the metro. The station that I come into to Salarevo is also one of the hubs for transport to Vnukovo Airport, which has a lot of the domestic flights within Russia. And it has a lot of flights that go to Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Armenia, Georgia, also to Turkey. Turkish Airlines flies out of this airport as well. So I do feel that in the last the 3 days I've literally gone into Moscow, traveled in Moscow, gone back home from Moscow to where I live, I definitely feel like there was more people going through the public. I pay attention to a lot of things. My wife thinks I look and notice and see things way more than what she does. Just the feeling of more people carrying bags, more guys carrying bags, more guys on their own. Right after February, you saw families and kids leaving Russia, right? You could see that. In terms of me catching public transport a lot, now I notice in the last few days, guys traveling, guys with a duffel bag, with one small bag, literally just not even a full-fledged suitcase, very mobile baggage, if that makes sense. So I definitely notice it and feel it. It's very, the people that could get called up, if that makes sense, in terms of partial mobilization as a word, is quite specific. On the Western media, from what I've watched and what I've seen, it's kind of very generalized what they're saying about who will get called up. And there'll be buses in the streets taking people off the streets. There'll be people at the bus stations, metro stations, airports, people at the border crossings. You know what I mean? They've opened enlistment centers, particularly in Moscow region. I don't know about Moscow center. Maybe there is one or two there, but where people can actively go there and enlist as well. So yeah, it's definitely happening. I'm not in the entire country of Russia. I know there's a lot more videos coming out of other distant cities, especially over in the far east of Russia, where there's a lot more people getting mobilized right now, literally in the last 3 days. I'm going to say 3 days. I think it's 4 days. Because the night before Putin made the announcement was when he was going to go live on television. Then he ended up doing it the next day. So, yeah, it's definitely, I guess I'm not as upbeat as I have been in previous live streams and previous videos where, it makes you think, should we, literally the title of the video, should we stay? Should we go? And even just from the poll that I did, there's a lot more people that are saying, you should leave versus no, stay, or it's up to you sort of thing, So Magic Knight, hello from Ireland. Hello. Maybe time to head back to Australia. Yeah, this is something that my wife and I talked about a little bit earlier on. She came home between clients, had some lunch, and brought me the orange drink here. Yeah, we can simply leave. We could. It would really be down to the cost of flights if we were to go to Australia. The prices of air tickets have gone up very dramatically. That's not a secret. There isn't not flights. This whole thing with flights being sold out, I understand that. Certain flights to certain countries. But it's not necessarily sold out that you can't get tickets. It's just you have to pay a lot more for them. Literally hundreds more for domestic flights, hundreds of dollars more. In terms of rubles, it would be in the thousands, but in dollars, in the hundreds. So, flights to Australia in the thousands. So the biggest problem is to be able to afford to pay for a couple of tickets to leave. We're not millionaires in any way. We don't have unlimited bank accounts. We are very much an average earning couple here in Russia. My wife earns enough to run her business, and that's about it. You know what I mean? And this is what's kept a lot of people from not necessarily leaving who should leave or who want to leave, because a lot of people here can't afford to leave. You know what I mean? Can't just leave. Do you know what I mean? My neighbor, as an example, he has a job here. He has his wife, his daughter, and he needs to be here for work. He is temporarily taking some time off now in the short term. So, that's a thing for him. Yeah, so this going back to Australia, it's really going to boil down to, can we afford the tickets? Can we scrape enough money together to pay for 2 tickets? One of the problems we really have is we can't use the bank cards that I have to pay for tickets. Also, pretty much all the international airlines, you can't pay for tickets inside Russia right now, either with a bank card or online, if that makes sense. Pretty much all of the travel websites in Russia that you want to book a ticket to internationally or outside of Russia, you can't choose Russia as an exit point because they've removed Russia from the booking systems. So things like booking.com, expedia.com, you can't book things with Russia to Perth, for instance, or Moscow to Perth, or Moscow to anywhere, if that makes sense. So if we do want to leave, we're going to have to find some cash, literally, from somehow, some way, somewhere, which is we don't have enough money for the tickets for now. So, yeah, hello from Thailand. Sorry, Queernu. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. And my wife loves Thailand, by the way, and she wants us to go there. She wants to go everywhere. She has a lot of dreams. In our rugby league, Kiming Drazinski was coached by an Australian, John Mulville, previously coached CSKA. Then the army team went bankrupt and he was invited to Desirink. I'll have to look that up. I went to a couple of matches, Vladimir, about 2 months ago now. I went to Slava Moscow and I went to the, what was the second match I went to? Slava Moscow was the one day I went to, and then I went to, it's a team with blue colors, if you can remind me of whatever that was. What about getting on a private yacht? Kristen, there is a river here in Moscow, which goes to St. Petersburg. And then I guess it goes to the open to the north, Northern Europe. So it is a tiny option. But it's not really realistic, I guess. But thank you. That's so nice to think of that. Fire and Ash. Fire Blue Joy. That's a long channel name. Hi from Australia. Yes. G'day. I did watch the grand final yesterday. Again, I just talked about that. I was at it was a cafe. I wouldn't call it a bar, but it was a German bar called Wurst Cafe. Wurst, like Wurst, Wurst, like Butterwurst, or I guess the sausage. And we watched the live Fox television coverage that we managed to. We already knew we could watch it live. We just had to get it all hooked up. And we actually met there at 7 o'clock in the morning because of the time difference. The match started at 7:30 a.m., which meant I had to leave home at 6 in the morning from my place, or 5:45. I literally went out the door yesterday. Constantine is getting triple the views at the minute, so you may get a few extras at the time also. Well, yeah, so far there's a lot of viewers. 416, 422. I get a little bit of an offset number here, and 87 likes. So thank you for the likes. That's very nice. I think about 100 was about my record, I think. So I think we might actually beat that at some point if possible somehow. So yeah, likes are always good. Hello, brother. Oh, Matt, where have you been for the last 2 days? Matt Speamer, everybody, is in Moscow. A good friend of mine as well. Matt, I can't say I love you yet until I meet you in person. I'm sorry. But yes, he has a YouTube channel called Matt's Beamer. If anyone's interested in mostly pretty much car videos or anything car related, he has videos. And after some deliberation, he decided to do so. I don't know what would have been done if he had refused. Sorry, I'm just not sure, Vlad, what we're on about there. Oh, I guess about the mobilization, I think. I think that's what you're referencing. You'll be fine in Russia, trust me. Yeah, this is something I did talk to my wife about it today. I mean, we didn't really have a long conversation. We just had a short one today. We've sat down for hours sometimes and gone through it. I'm a little bit more the wise head in this sort of things, you know what I mean? Like the practical, real life parts of this. Whereas my wife maybe is a little bit more scatterbrain thinking of everything, you know? So the one thing that I was trying to explain was about, you know, there are some of the border towns inside Moscow that are getting shelling near Belgorod. I think it's Belgorod, I think. And, you know, that's, you know, when there's shelling inside Russia, I mean, I understand the situation of what's going on. I understand the difficulties of people in another country next to Russia. But my wife's worried that it could escalate closer to Moscow. I mean, we're still quite a long way from the border here, and that's her concern ultimately, you know, so. Yeah, they would block bank accounts, seize property, or put them on the watch list. But he packed his things pretty quickly. Sorry again, Vlad. I'm guess I'm a bit slow behind what you're reading here. Hello from Murmansk. Hello. And I'm assuming that in Chinese is chicken, spicy chicken. I'm not sure. I don't think you have anything to worry about in Russia. Itself is a no danger, and you can't be called up to fight. Yes. I guess as a non-Russian passport holder, I have an Australian passport with a Russian residency visa living here. So yeah, that's not a factor for now. I guess if in terms of, that taking me off the street kind of thing, or pulling me at the train station or bus station thing. Russell, I thought that Russell had lost some weight or just shaved. I need to write first in Yandex Translate. It's not very convenient. Oh, sorry. Yes, no, I understand. Yeah, no, when I have a shave, I do look considerably younger. If I actually cut my hair as well, I probably haven't lost any weight over the time. I know my shorts don't fit so well right now, so I guess I've maybe lost a kilo or two. I don't know. That's mostly from eating less takeaway food. I tend to have a burger out every now and again, but I eat a lot more at home here. My wife cooks what I consider more healthier food compared to Australia, where I would eat at takeaway a lot more. So, hello from Scandinavia. Hello. If I could, I would leave Russia during this mess. Yeah, the thing is, well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's everybody's individual situation. You know what I mean? And talking about our friend's son, and then talking about my wife's cousin. He's both of them have got specialist skills that they trained under when they were in the military. And then also Gleb, I don't know specifically his specialties, but he's definitely kind of in that situation where they could literally send him the letter, or he would have to go to the office and so forth. So, hello from Murmansk. Is that two people from Murmansk? Is the media panicked and Exodus reality? It's on the news here. It's not probably on the news showing, like the lines at the borders, lines at the airports. That's not being shown. I watch just news via social media. I don't put the TV on in the other room and watch it personally. My wife did want to watch Putin's speech the other day because the lady's in her salon downstairs. There's a little multi-use salon that she's part of. They were talking, as all ladies do at salons, right? So, yeah, so she came home wanting to put the TV on in a real hurry to watch it, which I've never seen her do that before. So that's, tough when you think about that, right? I mean, I've never seen my wife really ever want to watch Putin's speeches. The only one that everybody does pretty much all watch, I guess everyone I know does, watches the one on January for the new year. He comes on the TV at midnight. Then there's the fireworks right after, but he has like a New Year's speech to everybody. And pretty much everyone watches that because it's part of the events of that night leading up to the, the Russian New Year. So, there is people leaving. I mean, the mass exodus can look a little bit skewiffed a little bit here, considering the population size. I mean, 15 to 20 million people in Moscow region, 100 million people across the country. So, this thing with flights being sold out, I mean, there's obviously a reduced amount of flights in and out of Russia in the last 6 months. And then obviously COVID didn't help as well. So if there's not as many flights leaving, naturally those flights that are leaving will be sold out. I mean, even on certain days for us to get a flight to Ufa, I can't get a ticket. And that's domestically inside Russia, So, I think, I did notice that the last couple of days, I mean, literally I did 3 days in a row going to Moscow, coming home from Moscow. I met a friend for lunch the day before yesterday. He wasn't in the military. He didn't do time. He didn't serve in the military, so he's not as concerned. I guess unless there's a full call up versus a partial call up, it's kind of going to change things quite a lot. Now, actually, Magic Night yesterday, I at this football thing that we went to watch the football together, they said that the Russian embassy has been saying to leave or not travel to Russia for more than a year, so before the last 6 months, and it has a bigger warning about traveling to Belarus than it does about traveling to Russia. And essentially, they've not made a recent update to those guidelines. I think nowhere in the world is safe right now. Yeah, I guess, there's things going on in Iran right now that's not helpful. You know what I mean? I guess that's a little bit more of a specific incident that's happened in Iran. There's a lot of uncertainty in Europe with the cost of living. I guess the oil and the gas and electricity prices and food costs have gone up drastically. Petrol prices have gone up drastically. So yeah, it's, I'm, in terms of, I'm happy. I know that's hard to say. My wife sort of says, you've got to stop saying that you're happy. You've got to stop saying that you're, maybe start saying that you're okay, not that you're happy. And that's the one thing that's, been difficult the last 3 days, because, I've always had this no worries kind of thing about life. No worries. And actually probably spending time with Real Moscow Project, she'll probably hear that come across from me when we chat and talk. Seems like a smart guy. Doesn't surprise me. Gleb was a trucker though, and had traveled a lot, so it makes sense. Gleb works for a security company that does the X-ray machines, if that makes sense. X-ray machines, like those walk-through X-ray machines and truck X-ray machines. He's not a trucker. He does travel a lot around Russia, though. But the company he works for is in the security of buildings and schools where they install security checkpoints. Hi, I guess you're saying hi. May God be with us all. Thank you, Scott. Yes. Hello from Florida, waiting for Ian. I'm not sure. Oh, sorry. I don't know if did you see the community post that I put? Thank you for the super chat. I think you put a super thanks on one of the comments of one of the videos. And I really want to say thank you for that. I'm pretty sure maybe a few people, I know there's a lot of likes on it. So thank you for the super thanks. I get them all. There's 3 different ones that I get mixed up about. So there are safe places, just not in Europe. Yeah, it's cutting down the number of places that are safer or better to live in, I guess, slowly. Yes, Gleb is definitely a Russian citizen. Yes, he's our neighbor in the building here. And he's definitely on that first list of call-ups, if that makes sense, because of his specialty trainings that he had while he was enlisted. Are people leaving Russia? Yeah, I mean, I'll say that definitely they are. I don't think it's kind of the sheer numbers that people think. I mean, people aren't leaving in the millions, or, you know what I mean? I would say it's more in the thousands, I guess. And a lot of people, like, it's literally is there is ladies that are in the military, not just men. I know men tends to be the mentioned comment a lot. Now who is this? I forgot my wife. My wife mentioned it today. One of our friend's wife is a doctor. And she served in the military at some point. And the fact that she's got skills that would be required, I don't know who the person was now. I'm sorry, I don't know that. But she is another possibility that she could be called up. I don't know who she mentioned. Some people leave and that's their choice. Yeah, that's, again, yeah, it's very, very specific, your background and your trainings, and whether or not you would be a necessity to have to enlist. There is a lot of exemptions, like if you have more than 4 children, you are exempted. A lot of people have talked about this, and I just watched a video before this briefly. I didn't watch it all because I got very troubled by what I was listening to about, one of the trending questions on Google is how to break a leg. And the fact that if you're injured, you wouldn't have to serve. And that just bothers me that that's even a situation here. I don't think there's that many people that are that stupid. I'm going to say stupid to want to do that. That he would want to, that someone would want to do that. So no one that has left Russia. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, our media friend here in the building, our my friends, well, very good friends' son. Yeah, prayers for all Russians being placed in danger. Yeah, I think the problem we've got is with this is it. Some people in the world, I mean, you guys watching, and other people, who don't see YouTube, don't watch videos, don't watch things. It's kind of like us versus them thing. You know what I mean? I guess that's always going to be the case with conflicts. And then, do people have to pick a side? I mean, do you have to pick a side? And, unfortunately, it's becoming kind of like Russia versus, even to a point, not just Ukraine. It becomes then other countries that are a part of NATO. The one thing that's bothering me a little bit, and we talked about it with the other Australian guys yesterday, it was Daniel. I forgot the third guy's name now, but I know the first 2 guys I met were Daniel, and the other guy came a little bit later, and I don't remember his first name. What was I saying? About Australia and Australia's involvement with this situation right now. And Australia is obviously giving military aid, it's giving money, it's also giving vehicles and equipment to Ukraine. And it may reach a point where obviously Russia notices this and puts Australia on the unfriendly list of countries. They talk about it here as friendly countries and unfriendly countries. And, that would really trouble me and bother me to the point where I don't know what I will do then, that if Australia gets put on that unfriendly country list, because Australia is aiding Ukraine, if that makes sense. Sorry, I'm just talking as if everyone understands what I'm saying. I guess it's how you listen to it, how you perceive it. Yeah, no one wants to leave, but not because, so no one has left who I know, though. I'm in Siberia. People are scared because they think that they will be mobilized, and they don't know what to do there, etc. People who know what to do in army are not scared. Yeah, I guess that's. I mean, look, I've never been enlisted. I've never been in the army, the military, and I guess it becomes. I guess you could look at it from maybe as being a fireman or a policeman. Sorry, ladies, but policeman and fireman. And it's that kind of fight or flight thing. You guys understand fight or flight? And I guess 9/11 and the buildings, and everyone was running away from the Twin Towers, and then all the firefighters were running into the Twin Towers. If anyone remembers that moment, and there's a thing where, like you say, the military and people that have been in the army or in the Navy, different services, realize the situation or what to do or what they may have to do. And there's a lot of people who don't have any idea of the severity of it or what they may have to do at whatever XYZ point, so yeah. So he's just afraid. My husband is ready to be mobilized. Yeah, look, honestly, I don't really have a specialist skill. I know it's not right to kind of to laugh about it, but to think about it. I mean, I guess social media skills is what I've got. I mean, this whole, I'm going to say the word propaganda that people talk about and mention in a lot of my comments. You know what I mean? I guess that's my skill. I've never flown a drone before, but I think about that. You know what I mean? I don't have a skill set. I couldn't even pick up a piece of military equipment if I had to. I mean, and really, mate, you need to get back to Australia. Thanks. Yeah, John. Yeah, I guess that news just recently about the British detainees. I'm going to call them. They were prisoners, I guess, detainees, and then being released. Aidan Aslan, Sean Pina. I don't know the other names. It's amazing how you know the names and don't know all of the other. There was 5 of them. One thing that was interesting with that story was there was kind of 2 different stories that immediately came out. One was that they went to Turkey, and one was that they went to Saudi Arabia. And Roman Abramovich was one of the people who brokered the deal together with, I don't know, one of the Saudi guys. And they got brought to the airport. They got put on a plane. They got given phones and champagne and steak and caviar. I mean, a lot of them, obviously wanted to get out of the imprisonments and detentions that they were in. But pretty much all of them had family in Ukraine. I know Aidan Aslan, his wife, they were living in Ukraine. So, you know what I mean? The news shows them like him back in the UK and things like that. There's a lot of things about that at the time that they were involved in that. There was an incident at one of the prisons, and they thought that they basically died in that prison when that had a fire and some bombing. I don't know exactly, the extent of it, but obviously they weren't there, right? I mean, there was videos at the time talking about that they were all gone, but they weren't. So, I don't like that stream is boring. Sorry, Pete, if you think the stream is boring. I'm sorry. I'm not as upbeat today as I normally am. I guess if I did the Coca-Cola one, it would be a different stream, if that makes sense. Oh, Patrick showed the referendum in Ukraine in his last videos. Yeah, I guess all of the different polling places are open. There's also polling here in Russia, so people who are entitled to vote can do that also here in Moscow and Moscow region, and then obviously in the different parts of the Donbass region and things like that. So, hello. I'm not sure of your first name, but yes, Здравствуйте. What's a boy from Rocky doing in Russia? Max, yeah, interesting. Yeah. Well, I'm actually most of growing up, I was in Munster, Spearwood, Hamilton Hill. Went to John Curtin College of the Arts. It was John Curtin Senior High School. I was in the same year with Sam Worthington, if anyone knows the actor Sam Worthington. We lived in Munster then, and then my parents moved to Baldivis, and then I really wanted to live in Rockingham by the seafront. And really, that's my place: Rockingham, Baldivis, this whole area. So, yeah, I married a Russian when I was on holiday in Thailand. I met her in Thailand, and then she asked me to come back and visit Russia the first time. This was 9 years ago, by the way, 9 years ago. And yeah, I've kind of been on and off here ever since. Just completed a full year being here this time. We were both in Australia last year for a while. So, hello from Italy. Oh, hello. Ciao. Buonasera. Buona tutti. Yeah, watch Graham Phillips. Yeah, Graham Phillips is a British guy that lives in the Donbass region. Kind of like his videos. He's had a lot of flack. He's actually now on the British sanctioned list. So they're in the process of taking his bank accounts away, his house away. He's got a lot to deal with in the UK on the fact that he's living in the Donbass region. And his videos have changed quite dramatically in the recent videos anyway than what he previously did. Yeah, Perth is 10 o'clock. Oh, 10 o'clock at night. My mum and dad will be in bed already. They won't be watching. Should leave Russia immediately. Thanks, Joachim. Well, thanks for the opinion of it, I guess. Tim, how's it going? Hello from Krasnoyarsk, Siberia. Empower. In Australia, Manpower or Manpower is a male review show. I'm sure that has zero similarities to your name. If you leave Russia, you'll be making a big mistake. The people who are mobilized won't go to the front. They will go to policing the cities, not to combat. Yeah, I've actually seen or read a bit about this recently in the last couple of days, especially about this, that a lot of them that will be mobilized won't see any action in terms of the front of what's going on. And a lot of them will go to the regions where they're holding the referendums right now and basically secure those areas. Obviously, they do need people to go further forward in the fight, if that's what it's called. This is where it's quite specific about people with specialist skills. You know what I mean? It's they're not able to. I mean, even Russia, as big as it is, aren't able to train people in this sort of time frames that they're talking about. I think for Ukraine, they were bringing people over to the UK, to England to train, but just the logistics of that, to bring them to the UK, bringing them back to, I think they were bringing them back into Poland and then across the borders. The situation doesn't seem to get better. Yes, that seems to be a thing at the moment. Very few people have left. Russell, are you ready? Nelly, I would never be ready. I get nervous going back to work on the cruise ships, let alone having to go to another country to face a situation. I'd be more of a person that can do humanitarian things, helping out, logistics, lifting, carrying, guiding people on what to do. Well, not what to do literally, but that'd be about as much as I could do. Right before February 24, in the sort of time leading up to that, there was a big amount of people in the Donbass region that came to Russia. Now, this is not very overly talked about in the news. The amount of Ukrainians, specifically as a Ukrainian passport holder, I guess you can call it that, the amount of them that have come into Russia. I mean, literally, I think it's somewhere between about 1 million and 2 million people have come into Russia. And I think even to a point now they're being offered Russian passports. But a lot of them, there was a day or two where they brought trains into our town here, to Aprelivka, and there was volunteers that met them off the trains. They took them to sanatoriums in the region here where we live, basically summer holiday villages, if you want to call it that. And then they were helped with schooling for the kids. It was mostly women and children. I don't remember being any men as such, but yeah, there was a lot that did come into our region right here. You think that it's possible that it could all happen? Have you got your papers? Yeah, no papers. Just made it here. Hello, everyone. Oh, yes, Ironwood Workman. Good to see you. I know you've watched live streams before. Thanks for joining. Every family is touched by the military at some point. Yeah, I think here more so. The Russian guy I spoke to yesterday, he and I actually ended up catching the train, not home together. He lives on the same line as I do. And it was very interesting. One thing he said there about, there's still a lot of people, especially older people, that still have a connection to the Great Patriotic War that happened here, the War of 1812. There's obviously, Russia's been involved in a lot of conflicts, as a lot of European countries have. I mean, people in Europe will understand that a lot as well. And he said there, a lot of the older generation of people still have family and friends or somebody that was involved in the previous conflicts. And in every town, literally every town in Russia, there's a memorial of some kind. The one that I've got in my town is, I can see from my window the memorial. And it's got the list of names of all the people that lived in this town that went to fight and lost their life fighting, I guess, for Russia. And And there's a lot of people that not necessarily got their involvement in this current situation, but in the previous ones, they're still holding that memory. It's still fresh in the minds of people from the previous events. I hope that makes sense. It's inevitable. There we go. Am I Russian? No, I'm Australian. I have an Australian passport. I was actually born in England. I'm not sure if I've told that to people. I was born in the UK. My parents moved to Australia when I was incredibly young. So I have an Australian passport, Australian citizenship. My wife does have Australian residency. Effectively, I believe it's 2 years or 3 years from now, she could get an Australian passport. We looked at the dates the other day, but I've definitely forgotten them for now. So sorry. Sorry, I just need to check if I get any messages. I put my volume on my phone for the first time in a long time. You will not get mobilized if you don't have that military card or passport. Yeah, no, totally understand what you're saying, Empower. Yeah, the military card is the critical thing for a lot of the Russians here. If they've got that or had that, it essentially puts them in a different category of people. John Hernandez, hello from Oklahoma. How's it going? The US wants the total. Yeah. Yeah, this is interesting. It's kind of, I've seen the mention of it being what's called a proxy event, which is basically where it's other countries using another country to fight for them, fighting the other country. I hope that sounds right to everybody. It's very hard to have a view on things because when you're in a country that's the immediate country involved in things, you're inside the country, as I am. I mean, I can say that I'm a guest of the country. I mean, I do live here. I do have residency here. I do have registration here. Everything that I've got document-wise allows me to live here and work here if I want to as well. I can get medical care. I could get a health health book, I think they call it. So I don't like any kind of conflicts. I don't care what country it is in the world, where you're from. I mean, me making the video about the Iranian car and then the amount of negativeness about me walking around a car in a car expo is really kind of quite unbelievable. In Iran, and a lot of people posted in there, they've got the toughest sanctions in the world against them, and yet they've built they built a car, obviously in collaboration with Peugeot. They were building with Peugeot together, but for them to be able to produce a car and then try to export it, in terms of all of the sanctions and all the things they've had to get around, it's a testament to them. I know that's not everyone's going to have that feeling if they're listening, and I don't hate anybody. There's always that hatred, and that's difficult to kind of bring across. I mean, I guess my working on cruise ships opens your eyes to that. You're on a ship with 1,000 or 1,500 crew members, and then it's from 50 nationalities of countries. There's always about 49 to 54 countries on any cruise ship you work on. And, it's not my goal to hate people. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's me. So, seems remarkable. People would actually throw away their jobs and livelihoods to escape the draft. Where were they when they sent these kids to Ukraine? Yeah, I guess from my neighbor's point of view, from Tanya's son's point of view, and our friend, Tanya's her friend, both of them have very good jobs here in Russia. Both of them do. but they've obviously seen a need to leave very quickly, literally in the last couple of days, very, very quickly. So, I guess it's their choice. I don't know how to better say that. Greetings from Germany. Hello. How's it going, Petra? Midnight. Also, Gary here is from Germany also. Dr. Gary there, who's one of the moderators. So, greetings from Adelaide. Midnight in Adelaide. Sorry, challenging times in Russia. Take care. Thank you, Deb. Yes. I guess watching the football yesterday cheered me up somewhat. We did talk about Australians living in Moscow and in Russia and things like that. We really all met for the first time. A couple of them knew each other through the football team. There's a football team called the Lazy Koalas. Is the name of the football team here. Australian rules football team, that is. James says, have we got an exit plan? Not really as in written down in paper. We know we can leave the country. We know we can. There is flights that go, as an Australian, of course, and my wife having an Australian visa or residency, we can both go to Australia. Obviously, her as a Russian passport holder, she can't go to, for instance, as an Australian, I could travel essentially to anywhere. And then there's very few countries I couldn't go to. So we could get on a plane, go through Turkey to UK, and I've got family in England. My wife couldn't. So it would be basically both of us leaving. I think it would be impossible for us to not leave together, I mean, considering our life here and so forth and what we had in Australia. It would come down to, can we afford the tickets? I guess that's the difficult thing that that it's been able to pay for the tickets and afford the tickets, especially with the prices the way they are right now. I'm sorry, I did just see a super chat, and I hope it's not gone. Has it? Oh my God. What happened? Did it disappear? There was a super chat from somebody, and it's now not on the screen. Oh my gosh. So thank you to whoever did the super chat. I'm very sorry I didn't put it up on the screen, and thank you. It's not showing here now. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through. So I'm very sorry if I missed that. Whoever it was, if you want to just post something briefly, I would be very happy just to mention your name. Thank you, by the way, for that, for the super chat. Maybe mobilization. I don't understand mobilization. Maybe when in a hole, stop digging. Ironwood, yes, thanks. Yeah, I guess the way you could look at it is that it's a call up of more troops. I guess that's the simplest way. Activating the reservists, or the reservists that are that were previously in the military, that are still on the books, if that makes sense. Is anybody saying who did the super chat? I'm not sure. We are not going to leave Russia. We will be with our country defending Donbass and Russia. Okay, let me just hide that one. James, we need to get an exit plan. Yes, I think between my wife and I, we're going to have to discuss something. Where we're living here, we're renting this place. So being able to leave this would be quite easy. We're not on a long-term rental agreement. So luckily we don't have any pets, because that's a big thing here in Russia. If anyone notices people leaving countries, I've always got their cats and dogs with them and things like that. I've finally explained to my wife that it would be impossible to bring a cat into Australia if she wanted to get a cat and then bring a cat. Guy, I saw yesterday a picture of the supermarkets packed with people shopping like crazy, as if they were stocking up. Guy, I was in shops and supermarkets for the last 3. Actually, I went to the supermarket last night on the way home, and it was no busier than normal. It was Saturdays and Sundays. Okay, yesterday was Saturday. Friday evenings tend to be busier. Probably today as well, being Sunday. Today's actually stopped raining now, but yesterday it rained the entire day. Yesterday in Moscow and Moscow region, it rained pretty much from the minute I left at 6 in the morning to what time did I get home? 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. I got home. It poured down all day, literally all day. First time I took an umbrella with me somewhere yesterday as well. The supermarket on the way home wasn't any busier than normal for a Saturday. People aren't stocking up. I will assure you that the normal shoppers are still normally shopping. I won't say that it wasn't any different. That's just my honest truth from being in supermarkets and shopping centers almost every day that I go into Moscow to make videos or to walk around, find somewhere new to film. I wouldn't say that at all. I think it was John. John, I think you were the one that did the super chat. Thank you very much. I'm almost certain it was your name that did that. So thank you. And you're saying thanks for the video. So yeah, super chats are greatly appreciated. It helps the channel immensely. Yeah. So thank you. They can just start pulling people on the streets. Yeah, it's not come to that yet. Yeah, I'm going to say the word yet. Not a lot of people there yet. Real Moscow projects. Yeah, I was yesterday at Globus in where I live, well, in Sarajevo. The day before, I was with my friend. Actually, we went for lunch at Depot, by the way. And then we drove out to Euro. I don't know what the name of the shopping center was. I think it was called Euro. It wasn't Europisky, because I know that one very well. But it was a huge, massive shopping mall that's just been remodeled recently. And we went to OK Supermarkets. And that didn't feel busy at all. And that was Friday afternoon, going into Friday evening. And then after that, he dropped me off. I went to Metropolis. I went to a lot of shops in the last 3 days. My gosh. And Metropolis wasn't any busier than usual either. They're calling everyone it is not partial. James, I'm going to say that that's not true. Again, I can't quote things to the minute. Something happened an hour ago, 5 minutes ago. Yeah, it's not. What you're seeing on the news in other countries is not exactly the news here. I know that sounds, one-sided or biased and things like that. What am I doing in Russia anyway? I've lived here with my wife on and off for 9 years. We came back here last year. My wife had to do surgery, which is completed now. She had to do some dental work. And I decided to come with her. She could have come on her own and spent how many months here doing all of that. I've obviously lived here on and off for 9 years now. Well, probably in total, probably about 3 or 4 years, probably longer than that totally, between traveling back and forward either to work or to Australia. So, yeah, so we're here. I came and lived. I'm happy. Happy. Jesus. I feel like I shouldn't say the word happy now, right? I mean, I'm definitely more subdued than what I have been in other live streams. So I definitely, I'm okay being here. The situation is going to exponentially deteriorate economically with sanctions. Yeah, I mean, look, I guess it's whatever job you're in or whatever industry you're in is to how you see that. In terms of my wife and I's situation, there's not as many things affecting us as other people. You know what I mean? So, the cost of my wife's business expenses have gone up a lot. The cost of the goods she uses for her salon has gone up. Her rent hasn't changed, which is a good thing. That may happen though. I don't know. So why leave? Yeah, I guess that's the red. How's it going, by the way? Yeah, I guess I was going to put that as the title, right? Questions answered. Should I leave? The $1 million question, right? But then when I put the word million, some people think it's about a money thing. So, I'm okay with being here. I don't feel sort of intimidated by the situation. If I go through a train station or bus station, I do take public transport a lot. Sorry. Excuse me for a second. Oh, okay. Yeah, no worries. Sorry, I was just checking again the messages. So I'm okay with the situation. If to say the word okay, I guess it's gonna come down to money. I know you could say safety and well-being and things like that, but I can't get my credit card and book a flight ticket. I can't do simpler things I could do in the past easily. A lot of bigger purchases that we need to make here, I can only do with cash now. So we need the cash to do those things. So you should go. Rothgar the Viking. Thanks for the comment. It's very interesting. It's like a bit of a mix of comments here. You know what I mean? More people than usual were shopping in Moscow. I wouldn't say that's the truth. I do go to a lot of. My background is in retail and shopping centers, supermarkets. Spending time on Friday with my friend Alex, which is not his real name apparently. He told me when we were going out. Gonna laugh because he's like, just use the word Alex. Don't say my other name. It's quite funny, and he's very heavily involved in the retail sector in Russia. And I'd even say yesterday, Saturdays is probably more of a shopping day for people than Fridays and midweek. If that makes sense. And I wouldn't say it was any different. There wasn't any lines like there would be lines down in the supermarket to check out. I wouldn't say. I do feel that the last few days I've seen a few more people with bags through the bus and train stations. Maybe a few more than I normally notice. I guess I do notice that, but is it really thousands more? I don't think so. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's there's people panic buying in shops. I wouldn't say that whatsoever. Russians, they'll have martial law. I don't think so, TTs. Actually, the couple of Australian with Daniel and Daniel yesterday, we talked about this. Would we all go to defend Australia? Would all the Aussies run to the offices to sign up, to enlist, to offer their services? And we kind of think not. I know that's not right, but I don't think there's nearly the amount of pride and heart, if that makes sense. I don't know. Am I saying that wrong? In Australians, as there maybe is in other countries who have faced bad times over the years, So, where was I there? Yeah, the partial thing comes about because of there's a lot of exemptions for people. There's a lot of exemptions of people who can't go to the events, if that makes sense. And that's where the partial comes in. Um, so the partial is mostly because of the exemption categories. They've actually even set up a hotline here that you can call and ask, I guess, questions about your personal situation. And essentially, I guess people are asking, are they on the list? So Russians left here, left 17 years ago, never coming back. Thinking with your brains and not your feet, with your feelings. Your pride will be at the end of you. I lived in Ukraine. If I was okay, I'm just going to skip through some things here. If I was you, I would get out, drive to Finland now. Robert, this is where the cruise ship is in Finland. Yeah, it's I guess it's a European country that I could travel to. My wife doesn't have a Schengen visa, so she couldn't come or couldn't. She could apply for a Schengen visa. Apparently, at the moment, it's more difficult to get one. There's a longer wait time. You can still apply for them. You can still get them. You can still be issued them. But there's a lot of wait times involved. The fact that the price has gone up, I mean, that's not really an issue. But buying up clothes, shoes, and groceries, recurve. Yeah, I wouldn't say that at all. I mean, I would say in terms of going to Metropolis last night, actually, Matt's Beamer was in the group, in the chat a little bit earlier. He lives in that area, and he always wants me to go to Metropolis Shopping Center because it's busier than others. It was busier for Friday evening, but I wouldn't say people were kind of buying up shoes and clothes at all. I mean, I don't think. I mean, the day before, when did I go on Wednesday? I went to Thursday. Sorry, Thursday. I went to a different shopping center to film a supermarket video, and the Zara was open. Oh, sorry, the H&M was open, and there wasn't a person barely in there, literally. And the first day after they reopened, there was crowds and lines, and now it's just like a normal day at the shops. By the Australia has major issues, the same as other countries. Don't be fooled by the propaganda. Yeah, Australia's got a lot to worry about, I guess you could say, with China, and China's sort of thing going on there with the Pacific Islands. What do I think of the referendums? I guess, I mean, a lot of this eastern parts of Ukraine has a very predominantly Russian population and a lot of Russian-speaking population. I guess, it's kind of like any kind of voting system. I mean, in Australia, for instance, we can't vote daylight saving in. We can't get enough people to vote for daylight saving. I mean, how would we be voting for, to change the borders of the countries? I mean, I think people have a right to vote on things that would better their life and their situation and what's happened since 2014 and things like that. So, yes, because you might find. Do you have a job there, Matt? Max. Sorry, Max. I don't have a job in Russia. I'm actually relying on YouTube essentially, and the popularity of my videos that I post. I've not done too many videos in the last 2 weeks, which is not good of me because if you don't get views, you don't make money. So yeah, I rely on YouTube as a form of income while I'm here, and then pretty much what my wife earns from her job goes back into her business, and she buys her own things. The thing, it's like everything that's mine is what's the saying? Everything that's mine is yours, and everything that's yours is yours. So there's not a lot of things I want, you know what I mean? And I'm not materialistic in wanting things. So it's kind of a good thing, I guess. Anthony, thanks. Yeah, you know in your gut what to do. Don't find reasons, Yeah, I understand that totally, Anthony. Yeah, my dad's name's Anthony, by the way. Oh, he goes by Tony. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm trying to more reason with my wife wanting to stay than her wanting to leave, if that makes sense. I'm not worried about going out and going through the bus or train stations, going into Moscow center. And I mean, I'll definitely stay away from events that are happening in Moscow center. I know there's a few gatherings, I guess you could say the word protests, gatherings, which basically happened right after February, and then they pretty much ended within a week or so. And then they've happened in the last few nights. So, I mean, I know not to go to that sort of thing and get involved in that thing because, you can be in really the wrong place at the wrong time, and, you don't want to get involved, so, that to support you have to mobilize the infrastructure for production of needs. It will happen quickly and soon. You should try to leave ASAP. That to support the call up of troops, Russia, you will have to mobilize the infrastructure. Yeah, I guess that's, is this a rethink of the situation? And I guess they may be thinking that the referendum is going to go in the favor of the introduction of these regions into the Russian territories. That's what they kind of maybe wanted to defend, if you like. Yeah, the whole thing is very upsetting. Yes. Yeah, I guess more so in the last few days than the last few months. I guess, it's still happening every day. Things are still happening every day, literally. And there's kind of like a news cycle of it as well, right? Where, things come and go out of the news. So, yeah, Tim, could you book a cruise and bring extra bags to Australia and just never reboard? Yeah, this is actually something that I've seen done before, where people have took cruises to another country to move there, and they've actually figured it out that they're allowed to take the bags off, go through the customs or immigration there in that port. I've seen that in the Caribbean happen a few times. I know a lot of on the ships with the Indonesians and the Filipinos and the Indians would love that to be a case where the ship would take them back to their home country and they'd bring things that way. I've always ever just traveled with the luggage requirements. Stay, it's awesome there. Thank you, William. Yeah, that was one thing that my wife talked about, James. You need to travel overland, then get flights. They may close the borders. Yeah, that's one thing that my wife talked about as well, that it would be easier to travel to other CIS countries or border countries with Russia and then fly out from there where there's more availability of flights. From Moscow, there is still Qatar Airways, Emirates, Etihad in terms of flying to the Middle East, and then obviously on to Australia. Yeah, do you have a charge card? Charge the tickets and borrow money when you get home. Yeah, I mean, it would be kind of looking at it from that reverse and basically borrowing money from home or getting my parents to buy the tickets. I really don't want to get to that point where I have to ask for money. I've always ever lived to the point what's called debt free. Obviously, now I have a mortgage back home, so I'm not debt free. I guess everyone's got a mortgage to some point, wherever you are in the world. I've been trying to nut this into my wife since how many years, that people do have mortgages and people do have commitments and people do have the need to pay bills and mortgages, and that's kind of what's stopping us wanting to buy something a little bit bigger here and have something that we're not renting, is the need to have a mortgage. I mean, and I'm trying to explain, people have mortgages. Everyone has mortgages, it's a part of life. to have to ask to borrow money to buy a flight ticket, that's tough. I'd rather earn it somehow, like by doing better videos on YouTube, from the super chats that come about through the videos, and have the money that way, than to call my dad or my mum and say, can you buy tickets, because it's kind of a sign that I've not done anything, and done anything to kind of better myself. So yeah, about the referendum, I guess, it's happening. I saw there's a lot of people saying that it's a sham and it's not real. You know what I mean? The turnouts are something, at the moment, it's somewhere about 35-40%. I think they'll increase the numbers overnight, sort of thing. I guess it's hard to kind of judge that number based on how many people are not in that region at the moment to vote, because a lot of people obviously would have left or gone to other parts of the country or come to Russia or wherever they've left to. So, Alien from Mars. Yeah, sorry, this is having to be thought about for you both. Wish this wasn't happening. Yeah, thank you. It's something that I didn't really expect to happen. This last 4 days, let's say, for instance, mean leading up to February, you could see in the news that there was possibly something going to happen. The mobilization of troops prior to that. I was kind of worried about China and Taiwan a few weeks ago, and Pelosi going there and things like that. And, it kind of came to a bit of a no event sort of thing at the time. And I was worried about that. And I'm in Russia, for God's sake, and I'm thinking about that. You go to Poland or Finland. Yes. Yeah, they're Poland, it's near impossible to fly to. It's easier to go to Turkey because of Turkish Airlines freely flying in and out of Russia daily. Finland, I guess we could cross the border through St. Petersburg. Yeah, the referendum seems to consolidate Russia's control. Yeah. The thing is, there is a lot of Russian. I mean, this is the thing. There's a lot of Russians in Ukraine. There's a lot of Ukrainians in Russia, and vice versa. Especially a lot of family going back through the generations, because obviously they were together at one point, right? And this makes it harder to talk to people or for them to explain things, because they've got relatives there. They've got family that something's happened to them. Einstein, you can just write them in the comments, not necessarily send them. It's easy to type them in the live stream. Thank you for the likes, by the way. We're on 215 likes, which is far more than I've ever had on a live stream. And yeah, the amount of people watching live from my kitchen here in Moscow, Russia. I didn't have a drink prepared today. Normally I have a drink. So I just thought I'd show you something. I know this is nothing to do with what we're talking about, but Real Moscow Projects, who's one of the moderators along with Gary, she brought me this back as a gift from her trip to Belarus. So it's right on my table right here, where I sit at my desk here. So thank you for that. Can someone from here purchase the tickets for you? Can someone from here purchase a ticket for you? No, I can ask people back in Australia, my family, my sister. It's going to end up coming down to that anyway, because I can't buy them departing. Okay, this is the strangest thing. There's flights departing Russia, but you're limited to the websites or the online side of booking flights, because I can't. Pretty much any Western website that is a booking website is blocking Russia or blocking the use of cards from Russia. It's it is possible, so yeah, I guess the mobilization was the ultimate wake-up call for the population. Yeah, I guess to a point in the last 6 months, it kind of, I could say it's slowly being talked about. I mean, I guess with the people that I talk to and the friends that I have here and the people I talk to online and like the people I met yesterday. Yeah, today's a hard day for moderators. Yes. I think the first hard day. Yes. Actually, Real Moscow Projects, I've got both of them right here. There's my little kangaroo as well. They're both right on my desk. This is pretty much the only place in the house where things are all mine right here. So, and then we've got fridge magnets on the fridge from different places. So, train to Estonia. I haven't thought about Estonia, but I know for sure you can get trains from St. Petersburg through Finland. I know that's definitely possible. And then to the CIS countries in the south of Russia. Yeah. Eli Kram and Donna, yes. Yeah, through Finland would make sense. You've got a very big farm, Ironwood. I have a very large farm in the US. It just needs to be remodeled inside and out. Yeah, I don't know if my wife would want to live on a farm, though. In Australia, we've got a TV show called Farmer Wants a Wife. It's a kind of reality TV show about single farmers wanting to find love. And I think after my wife watches that, she likes the reality side of it, but not the living on a farm part of it. Or living on acreage, I guess, just generally acreage. I'd be up for it. Why would you want to leave? Yeah, this is the kind of the weighing up of things that's very difficult to balance. You know what I mean? It's really just talking about, is it better for us in Australia? Is it better for us here in Russia? Are we happy in either place? My wife wasn't happy in the time she spent in Australia as I thought she would be. I guess it came down to friends and family, not being able to settle as quickly. You know, so you know, I mean, if I can say that I am happy here, I mean, as an answer, I mean, I'm okay with living here. I've always liked where I live, particularly the town where I live in. You know, I mean, I've not lived in the center of Moscow to experience that difference in that sheer population of people closest to the middle of Moscow. Yeah, the trains are still running. Yeah, I mean, you can still go to the major train stations in the Komsomolskaya, Kiev railway station, Komsomolskaya, Kazan railway station, Paveletskaya. These are all the major stations in the center of Moscow that then lead out to other countries or to other cities in Russia. Drive to Finland through St. Petersburg. Yeah, I've already looked at this idea, Alex, in terms of going to the cruise ship there. That's in Finland at the moment in Turku. Everything will be fine. Yes, yeah, train to St. Petersburg and Burl, by the way, everything is fine. Sorry, just call out the names. Train to St. Petersburg, then bus to Finland. Yes. Just going to click back here for a second. I don't think I'm going to get to it, am I? Sorry, I'm just going to go to my computer here for a second. I just want to make sure I make a mention. Oops. Sorry, I will keep catching up with the chat in a second. I just want to make a mention of the amount of, where is it? This one. We have a lot of channel members. And if anyone doesn't know, there is a channel membership that you can be a part of. Gariano is part of it. That's here. I'm not sure if I'm watching live, but I just want to say thanks to Chris Frick, Donna Butler, JF Hocking, Mark Slane. I know you comment a lot on the videos as well. Actually, Chris does as well. Robert Zadowski. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your last name. Babel Cruising, who I know from cruise ships. Pirate Craggy. I've not seen him in the live stream recently, but thank you as well. Brandon B. And Gary, of course, is a very big supporter of the channel. So yeah, they're channel members that are part of the channel. membership program. I do post extra comments, extra posts in there. Try to give early access to the videos. Yeah, I don't shout them out like everyone, other subscribers, other channels do about them on their channels. Now my YouTube has just gone a bit crazy cuckoo for a second. Yeah, so thank you to channel members that are part of the channel. Really, a way to support the channel is by just doing comments on videos, thumbs ups, likes. That's a big help for the channel, essentially, for me personally. So now let's get back to this last page that I was on. Then if anyone does want to put comments under the video after it ends, like this live stream, I don't unlist the live streams. A lot of people do unlist them, and I don't do that. So, sorry, analytics. There we go. That's how distracting it is to click things. What do I think about the referendum? I mean, I'm going to talk about it from more of a voting point of view and people's rights. I think everyone's entitled to, live a happy life, live a safe, peaceful life. I mean, for a country to join another country, this doesn't happen every day. I mean, in the world, it doesn't. The moving of borders doesn't happen every day. I mean, that's definitely known in the whole world. So it's I think people just have a right to vote about things that will help their life and their lifestyle and their family. It's not going to boil down to job opportunities, schooling, hospitals, I mean, things like that. Those things will come. They're already there in most of the places. The infrastructure's already there. I mean, of course, there's been some damage to buildings. I mean, that's definitely known, acknowledged. In different parts of the eastern parts of Russia, of Ukraine, there's already things that are getting fixed and rebuilt and remodeled. That's not getting shown in Western media. That's definitely noticed as well. So, I mean, I'm all for people having, a better life than what they may have currently. I hope that answers the question. You should leave Russia. Yeah, I guess there's going to be that definitely like, yes, you should leave. No, you shouldn't. Why should you? What's your opinion of all of this? Yeah, just stay out of the politics and you should be fine. Yeah, you're actually safer in Russia. Yeah, I guess that's difficult to kind of for people to see that part. You know what I mean? Obviously, Russia is a huge country. I can go 10 hours by plane east to Vladivostok, and I'm nowhere near any current events going on, but you're still in Russia. So yeah, we've got some hellos here. Have we got new people joining? Hello from Italy, Einstein. And Vico V, hello from Australia. Hi from Australia. It's hard to live in a time of changes. Yeah, I think that's definitely true. I completely agree. Real Moscow Projects. Everyone still lives. We're still here. We're still alive. I mean, we've kind of lived through. Have we lived through COVID? I guess COVID's still a thing. It's still a number. It's still a problem. It's very much not talked about in any news here. I can assure you of that. There's virtually nobody wearing masks in public. Hello from the UK. Hello. I have a lot of relatives in Yorkshire or West Yorkshire, predominantly Leeds, Bradford, Gummersall, Cleckheaton. And I'm just watching a Lee Mack comedy series. I think it's called Not Going Out or Not Going Out. I think it's a little bit old now, but I'm watching old episodes and I really like it. It's kind of, my wife can't understand it because it's just too fast, the English conversation in it. So problem is the Iran curtain is falling. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's falling, but I guess, with all the countries that are, let's call it, against NATO, There's obviously a bigger percentage of people in that kind of group of countries that are obviously in collaboration with each other, so yeah, worst. Yeah, that was the bar we went to yesterday, the worst bar. It's spelled with that same spelling. Excuse me. Oh gosh. Sorry for sneezing. It's all the pretty women in the live stream that's making me get like a allergic reaction to all the pretty women in the live stream. So sorry. Why don't you get Earl Grey Tea channel and ask him what he thinks? I'm not sure who Earl Grey Tea is, but I'm not scaring people at all. I mean, I've always ever been positive about me living here and my life here. Obviously, the last few days has changed a little bit, or I wouldn't say a lot, but a lot of the changes that I've noticed or I feel are mostly from friends and family here in Russia and what their situation is and how that's changed for them. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of ways to get out of Russia. It seems that you are not really willing to. Yeah, this really comes to Chinese businessman as your channel name. It really comes down to my wife. I really would just follow what she wants to do and how she feels. And if we feel it's necessary to leave, then we will. I mean, we simply will. Have gas prices changed? No. Maybe a couple of rubles up, which we will be talking cents, 3 or 5 or 10 cents, depending on the type of fuel that you put in your car. But the average classic unleaded petrol hasn't changed. China is building troops on the Siberian border. Are authorities allowed to come inside an apartment if someone ignores the mobilization letter? I'm not sure of the answer of that. I'll have to ask that to know that answer. Sorry. Yeah, that's the target. That's the target for today. 100 likes. Yes, we're on 255. Thank you. And I see a few people are not watching now from when I started. I guess I don't know what to say. In terms of what mood to kind of bring across in the videos. I think it's not so simple if you have family. Do you have kids, Ross? No, we don't. John, we don't have kids. For now, we don't have a cat. My wife showed me today photos of another cat that she'd like to get. This one with the big ears, very big ears. I don't know the name of the cat, but yeah, we don't have kids. So I guess that's not a factor in terms of family and schooling and things like that. And Russia. Trust me, don't belong in the same sentence. Change won't happen without the effort. That's interesting. Yeah, I guess that's an effort from both sides or from, I don't mention the word politics a lot and the politicians and the powers that be, but there needs to be a lot more, I guess, like you say, effort from very certain sides, I guess, to make that happen. Leave for anywhere except Belarus. Wow. Hello, Russell from Perth. Oh, Mila, I'm also in Perth. Well, I was. We're not now. But yeah, Fremantle Dockers. Yes, as we watched Geelong obliterate Sydney yesterday. Yeah, with the little Australian group of us in Moscow, they got together. Yeah, but I don't have it. No, as an Australian, I don't have well, it's military card is what they specify a lot here, not necessarily military passport, but a military card. Nicholas, hello. Huddleston, good to see you. If Russell is, sorry, I think no, Finland seems to where most Russians are leaving to. Most are leaving to Belarus, to Uzbekistan, Georgia, Kazakhstan. It's a lot easier for a lot of the Russians to leave to these countries because of the languages spoken and the majority of the spoken languages there versus going to Europe or Finland, which has a Russian element to it, but it's definitely more European than it is the CIS countries. Yeah, they haven't forgotten that it was taken from them. They live in the past. If I join, Russia would win. Wow. I guess you've got the little crying thing afterwards. No country has to deserve. No country has. Yeah, right. No one wants to attack Moscow. Running away won't change Russia. No doubt that is affecting tourism businesses. How is that industry going? Yeah, I honestly think that's definitely getting affected. I mean, you can see there's not tourism in Moscow center when you walk around. These tour buses don't have people on them. There isn't the amount of people walking in Red Square that you'd sort of typically see. That's definitely. I'm not sure about hotel capacities, but I guess the difficulty with people traveling here is the payment for things. You can't pay with a foreign card for anything. You'd have to bring cash and pay only with cash. And the average tourist doesn't do that. They bring some, but not for everything. So. How about going to Siberia? There are many parts of Russia off the map. Australian ambassadors will leave and you'll get left behind. Yeah, it's definitely still open. Actually, these guys yesterday have met the ambassador and they've been to some events that the Australian embassy is held in Moscow. And I'm kind of curious about that now because I've never heard of it before. Guys, we will wind up the live stream in about 9 minutes. We will go for 2 hours as we have done before. So if you want to get any final things in, questions, likes, thumbs ups, whatever you wish to do. Can your wife get a visa to Australia? My wife has residency, Thorbjörn Nielsen. I guess, wow, that's very Scandinavian. Yes, my wife has residency for Australia. We did that quite a few years ago. So that's fully in her passport already. It's actually electronic. There's nothing in your passport that Australia does. So there's no worries for her to come to Australia. That's literally our end game, if that makes sense, versus going to another country, traveling on to another country, which is what some people will end up doing. Hello from Denmark. Oh, yes. There we go. Sorry. I see now. There's a tiny bit behind. Claudine, thanks for the comment. Pro Kremlin. There you go, Russell. John, I have registered on the Australian Embassy website. You need to do that. There are things happening and you need to get registered. Otherwise, you'll miss out. Don't believe anyone there. Yes, I am registered on that website. I did speak to these guys yesterday, and I've actually talked to other people before in the past about this. Both my wife and I are both registered because of her being a Australian visa holder. So, hello from Germany. Yes, Frankfurt. I was, it was a German bar that we watched the football at yesterday. And we actually had German sausages. It was almost like breakfast because we were there at 7:30 in the morning. We had German sausages and beer for breakfast. I ache for my friends that weren't able to leave. Yeah. I mean, look, the absolute average person here doesn't have the money and the ability to just leave, literally leave, then maybe the next person. You know what I mean? My neighbor's very fortunate. They've got a second car. He was able to literally drive across the border. I'm not sure his work situation immediately, what he's going to do, but go home. And put your family at risk. Am I worried about my YouTube channel? For now, I'm not. The kind of content that I make doesn't break any terms of service of YouTube. Yeah, I don't make anything that's sort of untoward like that, if that makes sense. So yeah. Yeah, thank you to Gary and to Real Moscow Projects. Both of you guys, thank you for moderating. I do notice a lot of things getting deleted. Yeah, it's very specific words that we don't want on the channel. And I guess people that are being incredibly negative or untoward, I don't know. But Russell will bring peace. Said on Voices have said that on the 28th they will close their borders. So if you have a chance now, leave at the moment. Yes, I don't think it'll come to that. I really, really, really don't. And that's from my opinion of friends, of some family, of reading the news that I see. But I don't know. I mean, hello from Norway. Oh, look at that. Norway and Denmark right after each other. Ivan and Faith, thank you for being a watcher of the channel. A lot of new names that I see in the live stream that I haven't seen in the past. So thank you for watching live. There is other videos to watch in the channel if you want to see anything else after this. They might close the border for men. Yeah, I guess it seems to be a bit of a man thing. There is females in the military. Please, I know everybody talks about this so heavily in sport, but it is a man's world, as they always say, right? It's dominated, but there is females in power and in positions of power. I'm British. Do you know who I should see to sign up? Have the 12 months and get Russian citizenship. I don't know that part about the getting the Russian citizenship. I know there is a tiny element of people who want to sort of join or sign up, if you want to call it that, because of the benefits afterwards, and the benefits to your family. I'm not talking about what may happen to you as a person who signs up, but there's a lot of benefits that come about from being in the military, and then when you come out of the military or when you return from the military. So any can leave Russia if they want. Here in Canada, a media station said Russia will allow foreign citizens to join the military. It has been talked about, excuse me, in a couple of different news threads that I've read here locally, that they are open to non-Russians joining the military. It hasn't become any kind of mandatory or guarantee, like an automatic thing. There's a lot of volunteer aspects to things right now. I would imagine there's nobody wanting to do that from the Russian side, but I don't know. I mean, I think everyone's rushing to the other side if you sort of see that, right? I mean, can you tell me why? Yeah, there's a lot of things dating back from 2014, from before that. Hello from the UK, Jen. Hello. Is peace a bad word in Russia? I think there's a lot of people who want peace everywhere in the world, not just to say it inside Russia or outside Russia or so on. There's a lot of troubles everywhere in the world. Have you tried your embassy? Otherwise, who wants to live forever? Yeah. You're too cool for your own self. The flight you might get might be free. I guess through the embassy, I guess everyone's referring to this. Like they'll have repatriation flights. They didn't necessarily have them during COVID, so I don't know if they'll have them now. They're offering citizenship. Pretty much if I stay, 3 years plus 3 years, essentially within 6 years, it's a long time. I could get citizenship through the fact that I'm married here, and we did get married here, and I've got residency here if I choose to. I should leave Russia. What? Greetings from British Columbia. Hello, Robert. It has a fireplace, and I have a forest full of hardwood in the world. It's only 4 minutes from shopping malls and hospitals. Thank you, Ironwood, for the offer. That's very nice of you. Yeah, America had a draft 50 years ago. Yeah. Leave while you can. The door is closing more every day. Look at the trend lines. I'm watching from St. Peter's every single day. Yesterday it was awesome that they had boats on the river, all highlighted, all lit up with music. Yeah, I guess on the weekend they have events. They have in Moscow quite a lot of events as well. Yesterday was a miserable day in Moscow because of the rain. I didn't want to stay out any longer than what I did to go to the football, and went to the shopping center and something like that to come home. Ireland is pretty safe. If you left, aren't you concerned about the Russophobia and restrictions where you move to will place on you, plus the demise of the West? Jay Thomas. Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, if I go back to work on the cruise ships, if I come back to Australia, and then, everyone that I know, my friends and family know that I've been to Russia, lived in Russia. I don't think I'd catch any of it from them. I guess from other people who have that bias of, like you say, Russophobia. I'm curious how it will be with the ships. I guess it's a matter of not mentioning it or talking about it, because it will kind of spite people up or raise their back hairs up a little. Wow. BC here. Oh, alien from Mars. Yes. Keep courage from the Netherlands. Thank you. Genki. Switzerland is very safe. Yeah, aren't they? They're like the neutral country of the world, Switzerland. You got many houses and a farm that you could live in. It has a fireplace and they have a forest. I think I read that already. Yes. Yeah, Ukraine doesn't want peace. Yeah, that's something that's very difficult at the moment as well, that I kind of can't understand myself, not just reading things and taking in what I read, what I see on the news and things like that, social media. Why some people don't want to sit down and others do, and some people won't accept each other's, accept each other's conclusions to this. You'll make an appointment with Centrelink, you'll be fine. Yeah, they'll tell me to go online. They won't let me take an appointment. When I was in Australia, I was dealing with Centrelink, and I have a lot of patience for things, and from cruise ships, I've learned that from working with people from other countries, you can only control what you can control and you can't control other things. And Centrelink, at the end, they just almost broke me because I just couldn't understand that what I wanted was so simple as a thing that I needed doing. And just go online. Go online. Do you know how Sanction Ivan is doing? Haven't heard from him in a few days. Andy, I haven't talked to him in a couple of weeks. He and I, we've not met up or chatted for, I would say, quite a good few weeks. I did notice he didn't post a video in about 4 or 5 days. So yeah, I don't know from him what's going on. He left the group that I created as a YouTubers group. I have a YouTubers group on Telegram, Russian YouTubers who speak English or create content in English. And we have Konstantin in there, Ellie from Russia, Nikki Proshin, Real Moscow Projects, myself. There's 23 of us in the group now, YouTubers. And he decided to leave the group. So I can't really answer for him what he's doing. I just sort of do click on his videos to see that he's creating videos still. Switzerland has slightly expensive food prices. Land is everywhere, though. Who wants? No, you need to move out of Russia. Nowhere is 100% safe, unfortunately. Yeah, that's very true. I completely agree, Jen. I call my wife Jen, by the way. She's Yevgenia. Most of the world is on Russia's side. Wow, there's really it's interesting to see each comment after each other and how opposite or polar opposite they can be. So, Doomsday Tonight, hello. What time are we at here? Okay. Move to Belarus. I hear it's nice this time of year. Yeah, that's a pretty standard answer that I see. Not about just you can insert another name instead of Belarus. I should have left a while ago. Thank you. Yeah, right. Yes, guy. Yeah, he works for a security company that does essentially what I understand is it's X-ray. I simplify everyone's job and their job title to something more simpler that I understand. Yesterday, when I was with these Aussies, the guy there said that about him working at the airport. I'm like, okay, you work at the airport, and he's in the catering side of things at the airport. I mean, I just think of the airplanes and when I think of the airport, So, hello from the Blue Mountains. Hello, Katie. I'm going to watch after this, hopefully, the Sunday reveal of the Block lounge and dining rooms. If you're watching the Block, I download the episodes within about 4 or 6 hours of the episode going live, and I can watch it on my computer screen here. I know I think they're in Gisborne. I think that's Victoria, isn't it? That's not Sydney. No, you're in New South Wales. Sorry, but that's in Gisborne in New South Wales. Cancel. Why am I here in the first place? I'm married to my wife, my beautiful wife. I'm sure she's not watching. So we have been together for 9 years. We got married 5 years ago now. And we chose to move back here full-time last year. Well, we were here, and then we went to Australia, then we came back again. In different times then, of course. Yeah, saying that most of the world on Russia's side is objectively wrong. Yeah, I guess that's opinionated very much. I guess you can boil it down to like NATO, non-NATO. I mean, I'm not going to side with that kind of thing, but that's the way it kind of is getting talked about a lot. When they show the maps of the world and the friendly and unfriendly country with each other. Most welcome for the super thanks. Oh, thank you, Sari. Yes, feel free to use it for a plane ticket. Yeah. Yeah, for now, there's some money in the bank. for now. Not enough, of course. We don't have as much needs here as we would have had in Australia. Like needing to do things, needing to buy things, needing to get this and that. I mean, my wife, as always, wants things, of course, like any lady, So, yeah, it's a matter of just working through it now at the moment. Yeah, hopefully you can come to St. Petersburg. I guess if you've got the visa to come into Russia. Yeah, I kind of prefer the colder weather in the winter me than the summer here. I know that's horrible to say, but today it's 8 Celsius outside. Actually, my computer says 8 and my digital one says 8.4. And then in the kitchen it's 27. I've got the windows closed and we've got the central heating working in our apartment now, so it's nice and warm in all the rooms. And then the bathroom's got the heated towel rail and underfloor heating. So yeah, our heating came on the 9th of September, I think it was. 9th. There was a certain day where it came on. So yeah, I prefer the winters, and I don't like the rain. Like yesterday where it rained all day, I didn't like that, but I'd rather have just cold weather than warm weather. I know that's un-Australian of me, but surely they will want medics, etc. Yeah, I'm not medically trained. I guess I've got the basic medical training from the cruise ship, but that's really just absolute basic CPR knowledge. That's it. Yeah, actually, it was okay. So our friend's name is Zhenya, male Zhenya. It's his wife who's the doctor. That's why they left Russia. You should leave. As an Australian passport holder, I would be exempted from that technically. They won't ban every country to leave, as Ukraine hasn't done that either. So anyone that's not a non-Ukrainian passport holder can come and go into the country, even through Ukraine. So. Serious Stockholm syndrome. No. I wish the best for all of you. Thank you, Jay Thomas. I guess that's for me, and then for everyone else. Yeah, we'll kind of eventually wind up here in a second or two. I'll just get down to the bottom of the chat here. I'm sure it'll go still quicker than I can. Partial mobilization is a first step. It will be for more than 300K. Over 1 million estimated just now in just this wave. I mean, I don't know. I guess I won't answer that part, but yeah, not a Russian citizen, right? Greetings from Venezuela. Oh, Venezuela living in Moscow. Wow, check that out. As long they don't confuse us with North Americans, I think we're fine. Do you have the nuclear shelter map? No, I don't. I didn't even know there was a map. Venezuelan living in Moscow. Oh, hola, ¿cómo está? Yeah, I guess the one thing I do get noted a lot is when I speak English, people think I'm American or Amerikansky. And I'm very, very, very quick to point out that I'm Australian and that I'm not American, even purely because I'm speaking English. Oh, Easelcat, how's it going? There's a few people joining just now, and we're really right at the end almost. So, St. Petersburg will be beautiful during Christmas. I can wait to visit. I hope to get an e-visa. Yes. Yeah, that's perfectly able to be done online. You think breaking a leg? Oh, Nancy, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Stay safe, pack a bag and go and make exit plans if you don't need it. If you don't need it, cheers. But if you do, thank you for the $20 super chat. Nancy, that's very nice of you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you. I'm not sure where you're from, but thank you for the super chat. It's very nice of people to do super chats. Likes, thumbs ups, comments. Will we reach 300 before we get to the end of the live stream? I wonder. Possibly. Pick a side. You should have left in March. It was still affordable then. Most sane people would prefer Australia over Russia. Yeah, there's honestly, if I was to write a pros and cons list, if there was such a thing, or like that, there's a lot of things that go in both columns. I know safety, security is obviously very high on people's list, I guess. Australia is not likely, barring the Japanese coming back to Darwin. You can say that Australia is on the top of the list for safety. But there's a lot of other things that I need to write in both columns, of the should I leave or should I stay kind of thing, so European Union is going to suffer from the backlash. Yes, that seems to be already well and truly documented in the news. Most deleted comments I've ever seen. Yes. Yeah, actually, Gary's I think he's more busy than chatting himself. I know he normally puts more comments in the videos. So, yeah, thank you, Lacey, by the way. I know you've been in live streams before. New to the channel. He is traveling or has been living here for a while. I've been living here for a while, Matt, or Matthew, I guess. I have worked on cruise ships for a lot of years as well. And that was where the name of the channel derived from. I was working on Carnival Cruise Line, you can see here. And my goal was to do travel-related videos or places, videos that wouldn't work on my cruise channel. I have a cruise channel called I Like Cruise Ships. And the idea was to basically, excuse me. Oh, no worries. And was to have more non-cruise content on this channel. So 6,000 people crossed over the checkpoint in Finland border, like Wednesday or Thursday. They've got flights and such. Yeah, the thing with going in through Finland is you need to have the Schengen visa, which I would imagine a major population of Russia doesn't have it. So it's really only people that have that ability to go into Europe would be able to just, it's not like what's happened with Poland and Ukraine, where literally people just walked across the borders. You have to have the ability to be able to go into the other country for that to happen, right? So prices haven't gone up a lot. They have gone up. It's noticeable on some things than others. But the overall cost of living hasn't gone up drastically, if that makes sense. I think you are an unfriendly country. Thank you, Jen. I don't know if that's other people you're talking about, or you should listen to your wife and leave. I didn't read the rest of this. I've made comments on your videos before how it will get worse in Russia. This partial mobilization is a farce. They will grab who they can. Yeah, actually, Michael, now I think with Triple J, I see your last name there. I think it's going to really, well, I guess for now, this partial mobilization, as they're calling it, they really want experienced people, or people that have got a skill set or mindset that will basically be able to re-enter the military if they were always. The call up is for people that are already enlisted or were in the military previously. And then the list of people that can't basically be part of this mobilization, there's a long list of specifics who can't. So put some of the nations would not have won if they'd not got help from, I feel sorry for Ukraine. Sorry, I'm just reading this out. Sorry. I'm just reading it as it goes here. There's 50 ways to leave your lover and you can take her with you. Win-win, sir. Australia's a beautiful and safe place. Jay, thank you. Jay Corson, thanks. Who was the person that she listened? Michael says I should listen to my wife. Yeah, I do listen to her. We do reason with each other about things. I'm very much more reality and literal in terms of our conversations about this. It just looked, all flights from Moscow to Istanbul, £670. Strange that no trouble finding a flight. Yes, correct. There isn't trouble finding a flight. Where they've shown on the news, which I've seen, where they said there's no flights. There is flights. There is flights leaving the country, arriving in the country. There is seats. There is tickets. A lot of people, there isn't people just driving to the airport and paying for a ticket and leaving, because it's a matter of what you're going to do when you get off the plane, right? I mean, this is really the thing that's forgotten about, I guess. You know what I mean? It's what's next, I would be afraid. The fine print on mobilization orders allows up to 1.2 million. Yeah, I'm not sure I don't know the fine print about that specific number and things like that. But wow. France has been attacked. They've just burned the #1 distribution food center in France, where I used to live. Wow. We're already on the unfriendly list. I hope not. I don't think we are. Because I would probably know that really, really, really. Australia's been noticed by Russia, right? We have hundreds of people sanctioned by Russia. Yes, I know that part for sure. That there's mostly politicians and some of the, I guess you can call them oligarchs. So I'm just going to skip ahead here to a super chat that I saw. My gosh, I'm well behind. Have I missed it? Oh my gosh. Am I no even... Hey Rye, I'm not much of a Dockers fan, but loving your channel. Sorry. Thank you for the super chat. That's very much appreciated. Hey Rye, sorry, I can't put it on the screen. My God, am I that far behind? Sorry for saying my God. No, I'm not that far behind, am I? Surely not. Have I noticed prices going up at all? In the supermarkets, prices have gone up. That's definitely noticeable. I mean, a lot of what we buy here, like fruits and vegetables, we buy them seasonally, right? So we're buying grapes when they're in season, watermelons, oranges, and things like that. Fruits, we buy whatever the seasonal fruit is. Even in winter, there's still seasonal fruit versus summer here. So there isn't really any changes in that. I mean, the thing is, though, you can kind of look at something and go, well, sugar's gone up 5 or 10 rubles or 15 rubles. But that's, then when you go to put it to percentages, it's 10, 15, 20% up, which, in terms of the small price it is already, that's a lot. But, it's just, what you buy and what you regularly eat. I mean, like my wife and I, we eat a lot of more staple foods, chickens, meats, vegetables, rice, pastas. So, we still look for things on special, from working in supermarkets. Go to Cicerello's in Fremantle. Yes, my wife knows Cicerello's. I know it very well. We went down there and actually sat and had fish and chips on the outdoor decking when we were there. Pembrokeshire, Wales. Hello, I've skipped way ahead here of the chat, by the way. Sorry if I've skipped over anybody. So 10,000 a year, yikes. Yeah, this thing with GDP and things like that is very, very difficult because of the massive population of Russia. You know what I mean? This is what's very hard to, even the average salary of a Russian, and the average pension of a Russian is very different amongst different people. Not necessarily, you can say different regions of Russia, but what the actual average wage of Russia is far higher than what's ever mentioned on Google or Wikipedia or whatever you type into a search engine. And the same with pensions as well. Based on your previous work history and how long you worked or where you worked or what you did, fluctuates the pensions. So it's very hard to kind of talk about that as, oh, hello from Fremantle. Yeah, it's very hard to kind of put a number on that, Oh, yeah, I went to John Curtin, by the way, Mary, if you're watching. Are you a citizen of Russia? No, I'm an Australian citizen, Australian passport holder. I have a Russian residency visa to live here, being that my wife is Russian and we got married here in Russia. There's a lot of Russia words there. How much do we pay rent in Russia? So this is basically a one-bedroom place. Well, I don't know the number with the exchange rate, but I don't think it's all that much. We pay $397 a month. So it's $100 a week we're paying here. $397 per month for a one-bedroom, 50 square meter apartment, which is more than, well, I wouldn't say it's more than enough for two of us, but we live happily here. We have for many years. Healthcare is free. You can get medical appointments through work, but remember, Russian economy has not been recovered since COVID, and now it's the worst in 20 years. Everything in Russia will mess up after this mobilization. Yeah, I think that's worldwide a problem, that most countries haven't recovered from COVID times. I mean, it was nearly 2 years for a lot of countries. It basically says not to travel to Russia. Also, for most of the CIS countries around Russia as well. It's said for a long time, even before February, to essentially to leave and use public flights and so on like that. Like public airlines. But it's been that way for a long time before February. So must you use a VPN? Anything I'm doing right now with this live stream is not via VPN. If I want to access things like Facebook, I would have to, which are considered sort of unfriendly things. Cuckoo. I'm just doing my live stream. I'll call you. I don't know. I'll be finished soon. Yeah. Okay. Пока. Bye. Sorry, everyone. Yeah. So yeah, I have to use it for certain things, but most things that I do on the websites and searching and things like that, I don't need a VPN. I mean, there is things blocked, but really most things aren't blocked. Has people's opinions about Putin changed? I think in terms of the people that I know and the friends and family here and people that I chat to a lot, I think it hasn't changed. I think it's very hard to change people's opinions about, I guess it comes not necessarily about a certain person, but I guess about the overall history of Russia. People are very much, following the history of Russia. You're not going to just change someone's mind you may get younger people that are, teenagers or students or people that are of the recent years that may have formed an opinion that may be different from their family, but most older people that you meet, it's not changed, so it's possible but expensive. Yes, Matt. Yeah. True. Don't tell my wife that, by the way. I ran the Rand post in 2019. I think this is the one. Is this the one I saw about all the things that are happening now were going to happen, will happen? I think that's the Rand report. All the people are fleeing Russia like chickens. It's very hard to watch you as a travel channel from where you are. You'll be successful elsewhere. Thank you, Jay. Well, I understand, Jay, what you're coming from. I totally understand, because the limited travel videos I've made just don't get anywhere near the views of non-travel videos, if you want to call it that. Me walking in a shopping center in another country is traveling. I know it's not exactly travel like you'd want to see from a travel vlogger. So I like your videos. Thank you, Mary. That's very nice of you. I appreciate that. I've seen on the news they are taking minorities. Yeah, I don't think there's a choice. That this is not the case like this. I think wherever that's coming from, it's very, 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 very isolated. I mean, you seem way too relaxed about the situation. My wife is Russian, and we are getting her mother, who is a doctor, out immediately. Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. Totally, just some guy. Totally understand. I guess it's a personal thing and a personal, what situation these persons having, dealing with. I mean, if you can literally get your wife's mum on the flight out of Russia, then, she's got documents to do that. Then that's, I guess, what she wants to do, so. Why haven't you learned Russian yet? It's a beautiful language. I'm currently learning it on Duolingo. I'm trying to learn it. It's not as easy as I'd like to learn it, though. Regards from the Netherlands. Get out of there. Hello. Oh, Dark Brother. How's it going? Good to see you in the live stream. Do we own a house in Russia? Yes, we do. Yeah, my wife and I, it's in her name because of the way the system is crazy here about ownership. We're leaving effect that. Yeah, we talked about that today, literally this afternoon before this live stream. And we would obviously prefer someone to live in it and rent it to earn some kind of a money from it. But we've sort of considered that we can just leave it unrented, essentially switch the lights off and the tap off for the water. And then we just have to pay the communal bill for the building. And we could leave it just locked up, even move our own things into it as an empty place. We've talked about that today, literally today. So, do you speak Russian? Malenki, по-русски. I speak a little bit of Russian, or чуть-чуть is a smaller number than small. So, Yeti Pinyamai по-русски. I don't understand Russian. I understand some. When they go and get stuff, don't you get worried about being used as a pawn? No. To be very honest, no. I don't think it would come down to that, honestly and truly. You believe the news in Russia far too much. They are proven. Jeff, I'm reading your comment right there. Thank you for the comment. I understand what you're saying as well. Totally. Way past 200, 300,000, 200,000 from the Far East. Yeah, there's a kind of a thing about, a lot of people who are going now to this mobilization. They're looking at the benefits from it. I know that's not the answer you want to hear, the benefits, but the afterwards, if you want to call it that, you know what I mean? The benefits that can be gained from being in the military, and then at some point, once you retire and your whatever your pension may be, way down the track, and the possibility of benefits to come about from enlisting, as you're talking about there, Guy, or Michael, I guess. Not too necessarily. Speaking Russian is not too necessary in Moscow. Most people understand you. A lot of people don't. There's far more people who don't speak English, but don't understand English. I thought there'd be a lot more people here that knew English, and it's not that many, so. Are you mobilized? No. It's practically hard for me. I've seen too easily picked up on the patterns and rules of the language. I've seen it as a fun challenge. Also, it takes practice, which I do every day. Yeah, that's the whole thing with it. It's like my wife learning English. Especially while she was in Australia, I was encouraging her not to talk Russian, but she met a lot of other Russians, Ukrainians, and naturally spoke Russian, so they said that if you have to fly out of the country now, it's impossible because all the flights are booked. Dark Brother, not all the flights are booked. There is still flights. The price of tickets has gone up. That's definitely something that's noticeable. Over. Oh my gosh, why am I way? Dark Brother, thank you for the super chat. I just see it come up on the screen there as I've got way behind. Writing in Russian is impossible. Yeah. Hot mess. You should leave while you can. If government losses are correct, why does Russia mobilize? I think there's probably a rethink. I think I can't answer that probably, but people are trying. Yeah, I doubt that they will. That they already mobilized 200,000. Yeah, there is a lot more happening on the Far East and other towns and cities away from Moscow, St. Petersburg, Sochi, than what's happening immediately in the major cities here. The two things that are infinite: the universe and people's human stupidity. And from the one, I'm not sure, from Albert Einstein. Any predictions for what's going to happen in the next couple of months? That's hard to say. I mean, the difference you've got here is things happen very, very quickly. You know what I mean? It's talked about one day, like a rule or a law. It's signed as decree. They call them decrees here. And then the law comes into effect 2 days later, or 1 day later, or 3 days later. Whereas in Australia, as an example, things take months, years, decades to happen. And here it's the next day. It's Putin on the phone. Yeah. We always have, working on cruise ships, we always have a joke about that it's the captain on the phone. No, it's Putin on the phone. And we always, when we pick up the phone, oh, captain, yes, captain. And it's not the captain, obviously. Sorry, it just brought back a memory of the cruise ships. Yeah, there's not really, I mean, really, the people that's, well, no matter what I'm going to say here, it's everyone's going to have the opposite opinion or what they're seeing on the news, what they're learning or listening to. But they're wanting, if in terms of this, it's people that have got experience, from being in the military, being enlisted in the military, whether they served inside of Russia or outside of Russia, specialist skills. It's not, as you're taking it, green recruits. Today's subject is very subjective, and I believe subject to situation, yes. Stay there and make more videos. Thank you, Multi-Way Expo. Dark Brother, Russell, the only problem for a foreigner like yourself is getting out of Russia. If you need to get out, the road border crossings are backed up and all the flights are booked. Yeah, there is waiting in the borders with cars and things like that, and people crossing. And there is, there is flights available, Dark Brother. There's not flights. You know what I mean? You're not going to get people going to the airport with their bag to fly to Dubai or to Doha and not have a plan, or not have a passport that allows them to go to other countries. You know what I mean? This is the thing. It's limiting for Russians to the countries they can go to that don't have a visa to fly tomorrow, for instance. I can book a flight, Jenny. Yeah, there is flights available. I guess myself and my wife is two different situations. My Australian passport allows me to travel to a lot more countries that still have flights operating in and out of Russia from. So, it's not talked about that Qatar Airways flies here, Emirates flies here, Etihad flies here. If you go to the Domodedovo Airport or Sheremetyevo Airport, but people are talking about countries to fly to where a Russian can fly there without visas, or they've got visa-free entry, and that's where the popularity of flights is ramped up, sort of thing. So I'd leave before the 30th when he makes another speech. Yeah, I saw that today, that there's another speech coming up. Was it Putin on the phone? No, it was my wife, Angelo. Sorry. Yeah, I am a naive man. Thank you. Well, should I say thank you? I don't know. You can't book flights, apparently. I can book a flight. I'm laughing now at my own questions and answers. Wow. Jay Carson, yeah, I'm baffled. I think of others like Constantine, which is Inside Russia channel. He clearly should go. Is it really worth the YouTube revenue to stay? Yeah, if you look at his live streams and how much he brings in from his live streams, he's obviously come to a conclusion of what's working for him. I do know him. He's a friend of mine. We don't necessarily talk about the business of YouTube, of what he's doing and what I'm doing. I know when I met him, he did show me his YouTube channel on the analytics side. So I did see some of that. This is going back quite a lot of months ago now, but yeah, it's still closed. That's why I'm not seeing things. Thank you, Gary. If you've just left or you're still here, sorry. I'm going to literally scroll through this very, very quickly. Flights to other countries is still open to Russia have gone from around $300 on average to almost 3,000. That's very specific flights, and that's more than likely. There's no more economy seats, so there's only business class seats on the flights. I've not seen so many mothers crying since the Beatles broke up. Russ, trip reviews. Hello. If I were you and your wife, I'd get out. Australia would welcome both of you. Correct. Well, they already know us both, so YouTube revenue, but living in Russia couldn't make you earn out of YouTube rights. No, there's still revenue from YouTube, so ad revenue is still coming. If you're a Russian YouTuber with a Russian YouTube channel, then you can still earn ad revenue from non-Russian views. So if you're a Russian YouTuber with a YouTube channel in Russia and your predominant audience is in Russian because you speak in Russian, then you're going to struggle to make any money because there's no ad revenue from Russian views. My channel that you're watching here has less than 10% Russian viewers or views of all my videos, no matter which live streams or recorded videos. So that's not really a factor. For me, my channel set up in Australia. The ad revenue goes to an Australian bank account. My problem really comes about me getting the money from Australia to Russia. What is the general feeling from Russian citizens about what's happening? Everybody's going to have a different feeling or situation based on what their past is and their military past. That's the big X factor. So where, for instance, my wife was never in the military, it doesn't affect her. But our friend's son's wife was, she was enlisted in the military, and now she's not in the military, for instance. So she's essentially a reservist, like they're talking about, and she's a doctor here in Moscow. So her situation is very different to the next person, right? So Sam, they can't, well, for now they can't draft me because I'm a non-Russian citizen. You also have to have been served in the military minimum of, I think it's 1 year, I believe it is. There's so many specifics about who can be drafted. A massive amount of the population can't be. So the weather in Rockingham over the next 6 months is going to be a lot better than Moscow. Thank you, Max. Stop telling me that, by the way. I know the weather in Rock. My wife found it was always too windy. Every time she went for a walk down the beach, you know, the sea breeze and the Fremantle doctor comes in. Most of the world wants peace. Yes. The moles will definitely be empty now. iRussia TV. He can easily leave via borders with Kazakhstan, Armenia, Mongolia, Georgia. It's cheap but too long, and these borders will open always. Right. Yeah, this is a possibility. We don't have a car, so it's not a possibility, really. Okay, I'm going to... do you read news from around the world or only from Russia? And do you need a VPN for that? No, I can open almost every news website in the world. I think only a couple are blocked, and I'd need a VPN to open them with that. So, hello from Ireland. A lot of people would... I don't know what Kremlin... Okay. Be followed around by the government officials, personally spies. I didn't buy it, but it was interesting. Yeah, that's not true. So there is CCTV everywhere here. I mean, if you're going to do something wrong, you're going to be picked up for it either way. So like anywhere with cameras, I mean, the UK has them. New York has them. Manhattan has them. He didn't get punched in the face for speaking English. Aren't you afraid to continue living in such a country where the number of people supporting the fight? He didn't get punched in the face. He got yelled at by somebody because he was speaking in English, and the guy basically, let's call him the word, pushed him. I did actually speak to Nikki on chat because I'm in a group that we're in the same part of. He was a bit shook up by it because it's not something that's very, very, very typical here at all. I mean, he was walking with a group of people that were very hyped up at the time. I mean, he chose to walk with these groups of people that were walking around the center of St. Petersburg. Yeah, I think a lot of this has been deleted. So can't share this channel. I don't know why not. You should be able to, Daniel. If you're relying on an exemption, you're not going to go so well. So Texas should be able to vote to be part of Mexico if they had enough Mexicans living there. Interesting. Yeah. I think I'm going to scroll through right to the bottom here. Yeah, the only Docker shirt, Jaden. Thank you. Yes, I actually wore it yesterday when I went to watch the football match. There was a Sydney supporter there, and I don't know. Should have asked the other guy what team he was supporting. I've enjoyed following you, but listening tonight has really made me understand a lot about you. Please contact the Australian Embassy in Moscow. For your choice, I can't listen anymore. No, thank you. Thank you, John. I think I've got way too behind. All right. Your friend Sanctioned Ivan have already escaped across the Georgian land border. His final destination is Turkey. He and his two friends will share a small apartment in Turkey. Well, that's interesting. Did he mention that, or has he commented, or has he posted somewhere? I don't know. I didn't see any of that, so I'm not too sure why he chose to leave. But what's your opinion for an Australian buying property in Russia? I'm pretty sure you would need to have a visa to live here to do that. I don't think as an Australian you can buy property. I'm not sure specifically, though. I know everything that we've bought here is in my wife's name, just for the ease of paperwork. Thank you again, YouTube. Charge cards, you mean credit cards? Stop the... Okay, I'm going to just literally scroll right to the bottom here, guys. I'm sorry. I was watching the video. He was slapped. He was slapped twice. Wow. I think it was only once. It wasn't a punch. He wasn't punched. It wasn't a fight. He doesn't want to be drafted. He doesn't. Hello from Tampa Bay. Thank you, Mark. What is the one ship you won't see in Fremantle? A premiership. Come on, it's Flag Mantle. And then it was the Flag Pies when they beat them, and then neither of them were there. I'm just listening outside. There's some fireworks going on outside. Maybe somebody's birthday today. Hi, Russell. Yes, happened to see that film Nikki put up. A lot of people were demonstrating thought that filming was a bit silly. Glad you say he is okay. We want everyone to be safe. Yes, Susie. Yeah. Sorry, I've scrolled right to the bottom of the chat here, everybody. So, yeah, I just chatted to him after. Well, not really afterwards. A little bit. I think, was it yesterday or the day before? And I did it a little bit later on. So, yeah, I guess he was just shook up. You know, I mean, I guess he didn't expect that he was doing live. He continued to go live. You could see he sort of dashed across the street to get away from it. I mean, it's not really. I mean, I've been literally in Pushkin Square once at the very beginning when I knew it was live on TV and things like that. I went to a far, far corner of everything. I didn't walk anywhere close to anything happening because I just don't want to walk down the same street as something like that, you know. Ivan made live stream about leaving Moscow to Turkey 2 days ago before he left with 2 friends. Oh, yeah, I know he unlists his live streams, Donkey, so I know he doesn't show them. Love cruise ships, and my ex was more super tankers than supermodel. Love from the UK. Thank you. Stay alert. Good luck. Still, stop. Someone slapped him. Yeah, it's not really an excuse. Yes, correct. I'm surprised to see this as well. Nicky played a silly game, and it was the only outcome, to be honest. He's a lovely lad. Yes, I have not met him, though. I'm still waiting to meet him somehow. Nicky Proshin is his name, by the way. I know Proshtin. Nicky Proshtin. Your assessment does not match Konstantin's or news. Did you see Nicky's walkabout a few nights ago? Caroline, I did. Yes, I watched his live stream. I tend to, especially where it's a longer one. I know it was cut quite short. I think he didn't want to keep going at some point after that. Konstantin, I know very well. We've met. We live literally up the road from each other, from Konstantin. He's obviously in a much, much different situation. The fact he's got kids, wife, he's got kids from another marriage back in the US. He has a very specific job that he does, his business that he's part of, or the company he works for. So, I mean, he sees things through different eyes, I guess you could say that. Yeah, I do agree with this. Halen Pace, absolutely. Yeah, had protective upbringing, yes. The impression I get, but he did live in China. I think he was maybe an English teacher there. I don't know what he did in China, but maybe an exchange student of some kind. Yeah, he's still very young. Really, I know when I spoke to Konstantin about him, and he was surprised at how young he is, and things like that. Yeah, Jeff. Yeah, that's a sign of a decent country scared to get near a protest in the case they decide a part of it with no proof. Yeah, look, I think even in Australia when we have protests, there's events that happen in Perth, and people go and some people don't. So it's your choice if you want to go and be part of it and get caught up in it, or I don't know, support it or not support it. Yeah, there's teacher should be, yeah. I've never served, yeah. So, but I think, yeah. All right, everybody. So we're literally on 3 hours. Normally I go for 2 hours, and I have skipped over a lot of comments. I'm very sorry if I have skipped over some comments. I'm going to thank everybody for watching the live stream tonight. A little bit different, probably to my other live streams. A little bit more subdued, a little bit quieter, a little bit less than what I normally do, I guess. Thank you for 320 thumbs ups or likes, if you want to call it likes, thumbs ups. A plus Russian, we're just finishing because I started very early today, so you're going to probably have to scroll back or scrub back through the live stream to some of it. Guy L, thank you. Yes. Magic Nightclub, thank you. Yeah, I was in another stream which where I wish I wasn't. Oh, there you go, A+. Yeah, I guess that happens, right? I mean, it's kind of all over the place for some at the moment. So is it that one I need to hide? I'm just going to scroll back down. Stay safe, everyone. Yeah, thank you. If everyone gives a little, we can buy him and his wife tickets out of Russia for the vacation in Turkey. Yeah, we wouldn't go on a vacation to Turkey. We wouldn't. Well, my wife has a visa to travel to Australia. So whatever flight we get on would allow her to fly to Australia, whether it's through another country to get there. Yeah, this would bother me now with Sanction Ivan, that this is the videos that he'll make in Turkey, at a holiday resort somewhere at the beach, not, that we're here because we left videos. I wouldn't make that kind of video personally, but yeah, I mean, like, money from super chats would go towards a ticket, absolutely, but to Australia, that's it. Yeah, if you go to university, you don't have to go to military service, right? I don't think middle and upper class Russians do go to Russian universities are exempt. I think even now current students are exempt from the draft. Helen Pace, yeah, there is certain things about the university enrollments that allow them to not be called up. Full of hope, sunshine, promise of the future. Russell, the ultimate moderator, the voice from outside. All voices, mate. All voices, mate. Yeah, I've never met either Nikki or Ellie. Yeah, you're talking about Ellie from Russia. Both of them are in the same chat that I have. I really should just say hello to her just out of curiosity. I know she's not always in Moscow where she lives, because she travels to a lot of far off places in Russia for videos that she creates. Zach, I don't know, and I've not made contact with him. So, 7,000 people watching Constantine. Wow, he has 140,000 people in his group. So, yeah. Donkey Desi, by the way. Yeah, hello. Sorry. All the best to you and yours. Take care, Russell. Thank you. Come to the Netherlands. We need workers in almost every profession. I've been to the shipyard in where were we? Groningen. No, not Groningen. It was Emshaven. We were there. So, wow. Nikki, the BMW chap. Nikki, you need to look up Matt's Beamer. Type into YouTube afterwards, Matt's Beamer. He's a friend of mine here in Moscow, an English guy that makes videos about BMWs. So I wonder if you've got a channel as well. Oh, Rove and HD, hello. You got slashed. Yeah. Avoid them like the plague. Yeah, totally agree, Nick. Yeah, I mean, it's just brings out the worst in a lot of people, these kind of events. Okay, guys, see you next time. Yes, thank you, Real Moscow Project. I'm about to click end broadcast in a second. Micro video is coming soon. Yes, the next video I'm going to make, I was at a supermarket. I know you guys love supermarket videos. I saw some more microwaves. Yeah, don't worry too much about other channel numbers. I wouldn't recommend it. We're out as soon as hubby gets his visa anyway. Oh, there we go. I liked my time when I was there. Incognito. I don't think it'll come to that, Leaf, but I guess you know something I don't, so... No, I don't know about this one. Of course, we all know. Yes. All right, guys, so I'm going to wind up here. I'm not going to click any more comments. I know you guys are going to keep typing them, so... are people protesting still? Yeah, it's really in Pushkin Square. There's the one famous place in Moscow, which is the only place where people tend to protest and gather. It's right where the new Kuznetsy Tochka is, or the existing McDonald's. It's in exactly the same square there where that was going on. I guess we're now 4 days in. I don't know if anything happened in the last night or two, but next time talk about meeting to your wife. Okay. A+ Russian, I believe not, because I'm an Australian citizen and passport holder. I have a Russian residency to live here. So there's no line in any rules that have been put out right now that would involve me in that. So yes, no. All right, everybody. Thanks for the likes. Oh, we're on 333 likes. That's a weird number. 3 it's better than 666. Thank you, Easelcat. Stay safe. Don't believe the hype. Yes. I am here closer to the hype, I guess, if that's a thing. Yeah, 333 likes. That's a bit of a weird number, but we'll end there, I guess. Thank you, everyone that's still currently live in the live stream. That's far more than I've ever had watching live. We topped out at 634 people at one point. So you just ruined it for another like. Thank you. Yeah, and thank you for people that did super chats or super thanks. I guess they're the two different ones that you can do on live streams. Yeah, it's going a long way towards the channel and the popularity of, well, the channel. It's going towards the channel. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Yeah, super chats are a good thing. I appreciate where they've been put on the live stream. And then the super stickers is the other one. Super thanks are the ones that you can put on a video in the comments, which is the one that I called out from Sari. I should do more streams. Yes, I was planning to go on a live stream for my cruise channel. I like cruise ships. I'll see how I am after dinner now. I'm going to have something to eat, and I'll see how I feel in half an hour or so, if I can get the energy to keep talking. Because it takes a lot out of you sitting here just talking like this. Easelcat, come back soon. Yes. Thank you, Dark Brother. You guys are supportive of the channel. I know that. And yeah. All right, everybody. I'm going to end the chat. Catch you guys later and have a good evening. And thanks for watching Traveling with Russell. And if you want to post a comment under the live stream, I don't unlist these, so they stay here after I end the chat. So if you want to type a comment, I will try to reply to some immediately within the next hour or two. Yeah, and I am going to have another supermarket video up tonight or tomorrow, I guess. Maybe tonight, hopefully. I know people love supermarket videos or shops in Moscow. I don't know what you want to call it. So, yeah. Catch you later, everybody. Bye.